Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mighty Books Podcast. I'm starting this episode a bit differently. As you may know from looking at the thumbnail, this is the milestone 100th episode of my author interview series. What a crazy undertaking this took to get here. Is this a gigantic accomplishment that will be met with parades and fanfare? Absolutely not. Will people speak of this with reverence and amazement? I seriously doubt it. However, this episode right here is something I have used to memorialize my journey on becoming an author and podcaster. 100 is only a number in a long line of integers to come. In fact, many before me have indeed reached such a number. But this is a new territory for me. This is a moment to stop and take a second to think back to where it all began. And that brings me to my guest. Her name is Jeanne Atlanta Broxton. She's a dear friend of mine who I have known since I was a wee lad. Honestly, I couldn't tell you the exact time in which we met because she has pretty much always been there to some degree in my life. It's insane how the trajectory of life works, how some people can make an impact at the time seems infinitesimal, but end up growing over time like a collection of pebbles getting speed down a mountain, influencing other large boulders to shift and tumble, eventually growing into something monumental. It's safe to say that without her and her direction, knowledge, and belief, that I would not be where I am today. For it was her who I looked to when I was a lost little writer aiming to push my way into the world of books, publishing, and marketing. A little bit about Jeanne. She's a mother, daughter, friend, entrepreneur, book sales and social media marketing specialist, and future author of her book that is currently untitled. Yes, I know that this show interviews published authors, but I aim to make this podcast an authentic and insightful collection of people who give a damn about delivering the right message from their hearts and minds. And yes, nepotism is a thing in this special case. Anyway, enough from me. Please enjoy this exchange between friends, celebrating a milestone, small to many, but large to me. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, author Ryan M. Oliver, and this is the Mighty Books Podcast. Nailed it. Yes. We're laughing because it's taken us 30 minutes just to hit record.
There's been multiple attempts.
Yeah, multiple attempts.
Like
anyway.
three.
Yeah.
Like three. Okay. Anyway.
Yes. Anyway. Hi, Jeanne.
Hi.
Thanks for coming on. It's super exciting to have you. I'm stoked. I know. Our big 100, which is so awesome. I'm excited. So excited. Yeah, I'm stoked. This is awesome. So we're here to chit chat and really kind of catch up, see what you know, and dive on all sorts of topics. We're just gonna be here, kind of hanging out. It's gonna be a great time.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It is. I'm trying to grab my pen. Hopefully, you're really good at editing.
I am so good at it. So good. I'm probably the best there ever was.
Oh, there can be like a blooper.
There could be bloopers.
There could be
the whole thing's a blooper. Let's be realistic. I'm just going to keep this all in here, and people are just going to realize either they're going to say we're super charming or they're really cringy. Either way, I'm keeping it all. So who cares?
Oh my gosh. My siblings call me cringy all the time. I was
Perfect.
Like, ooh, cringe. And they're like, the way you say cringe is cringy. I can't win with younger people. And then
you're just winning all the time. If you're just always going to win. I was like, you're fine.
When are they going to realize I'm the cool?
You're the cool one. Yeah, you're clearly the cool one. It says they have to understand this. It just takes a lot of time of self-reflection. They haven't gotten there yet. They'll get there. Okay. It's okay. It's because are you the oldest?
I am.
Yeah, you're the coolest. See, I'm the oldest.
Which
So
which it was so funny because
I'm kind of,
the birthday my birthday party
yeah.
on this last week.
But yeah, happy late
I
birthday, by the way.
yeah, 36, 36.
Heck yeah, 36 years young.
Somebody asked me how old, and I literally had to pull out my calculator and put like 1988 minus 2024. Okay, I'm 36.
I
I do that all the time.
love that. It does. I mean, it's just a number. It doesn't really matter. It's just a number. That's all it is. That's
And
really
then
all it is.
my siblings, my sister was like, "Haven't you been like 36 the last like 6 years?" I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm in like this time warp in my 30s.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
That like,
I've always been told I was older. Like I was born older. Like even when I was 16, I was told I was 25. They're like, you're
I
like
mean, I could
25,
see
right?
that. I
I was,
mean, I could see that because you did look
I
a
looked a lot.
lot, even in elementary school.
Yep, I looked older. My boys look older. Both of them look like they're 2 years older. Every time, like, oh, this one's what, 12 or 13? I was like, no, he's 10. He's 10. Like,
Yeah,
seriously? They're just tall. They're stocky and tall.
yeah, and that's exactly how you were
Yep.
in
Yeah, I am.
elementary school.
Currently am. Nothing's changed. And I'm trying to just stay lean now. That's the hard part because I've grown up. I'm now growing out. So I have to try to reduce that. I can't grow out anymore. Out bad. Beer gut bad. No, I can't have that. The dad bod thing, that's got to go away.
Well, apparently, like dad bods are in now.
I have no
I
idea. I
like
just want to be fit, be able to go up and down stairs without losing my breath. Like that's what I want. I just,
it.
small goals, okay? Small goals.
Okay, do I need to start like scheduling a text like, hey, have you gotten out?
Oh yeah, I get out plenty. It's just motivation to like work out. I started working out and it's been going really well, but it's like, God, I don't want to.
I mean, really, does anybody want to?
I don't know. I mean, I know some guys who are super into fitness and they're like they if they don't get their reps in, they're like they're just shaking. They're so like, what do I do with myself? Me, I'm like, no, I want to
Gym
just
rat.
relax all the time. But if I do that, I
Then
become, a house and I don't want to be a house. I don't want that at all.
or well, did you see that movie? Very touching movie.
Mm-mm. Haven't seen that one. Haven't seen that one. Anyway, we should probably talk about your stuff.
That would motivate you to get your ass up.
What's that?
If you watch or look up that movie well, it would motivate you to get
Oh,
your ass
Whale.
moving. Well,
Whale. Brendan
WHALE.
Fraser. Yeah, I want to
Yes,
see it. I just haven't because I haven't watched much anything lately.
I know. I'm not much into watching. I'm more of a reader, hence why we're here, right?
Right, right. Reader, writer, all the above, and all the things
It
and
is,
such.
but it is such a touching movie, and it's also like extremely sad too. But I think that would probably encourage you to
Oh yeah,
move a little bit more.
I've been
So
moving.
like
I've been moving
put that on your list to
on my
move.
watch list. Yeah, when I
So
have
I
a
don't want to
second.
have to come visit you and roll you places.
I'm not quite there yet. I'm still a little rigid. I've got some. I'm more like a curvy rectangle. That's more what I am. It's just it's. I kind of roll a little bit, help you momentum to flip me over. It works really well. Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, it's kind of like a rocking chair. That's more or less what I
Let's
am.
go.
Yeah, it's gross.
Okay.
Anyway,
Anyways,
yeah. So you're writing a book, and I've been poking you to write this book and get it out there. We've been talking for like, how long have you been writing this thing for? A few years now, right?
oh my god.
So many. But you've been busy. I mean, you are just insanely busy.
I know. Oh my god. At least
3 years?
probably 4.
4 years? Okay.
And
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
it's been a long time. And
Yeah.
it's really, really, I'm actually checking right now to see when Patrick and I first started talking.
Because I can't remember. So like, I'll kind of do
Oh
like
my god.
background for the people who don't know. Because I've talked to you. I've talked about
2020.
2020. Okay.
2020.
Because I've talked about you a
So
little
a
bit
little
on the
bit
show.
before 2020.
Okay. Because I've talked about a little bit, but I don't think I've called you by name on the show. But I said I had a friend who got me connected to XYZ, and that's how I got started.
Uh-huh.
So this is the friend, everyone. This is Jeanne. Say hi.
Ah! Oh.
Janae and I
Um,
go way back to like kindergarten, preschool, young child. Probably, I was probably still in diapers. I don't know about her, but I mean, it was,
I
very
mean,
young.
we're the same age, right?
Yeah, I'm 35.
Yeah.
I turned 36 here in June. So I mean, I got a couple months left.
Come on, a couple months left.
I got a couple months left. Yeah, I try not
Um,
to think about it. Try
I
to
know. I was like, we're the same age ish.
close enough. Close enough. I mean, when you get past 30, who cares? At that point, when
No,
you get past
yeah, it all blends in, which is why I need my calculator to figure out how old I am. All blends in. I feel like I've been in my mid 30s forever, forever,
I can't believe it's mid 30s. When I
forever.
say mid
I
30s, I'm
know.
like, ow, I need my cane. Jesus, this is gross. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
I think Jadzia, because Jadzia is 8, and I'm my youngest.
God.
And I'm pretty sure that is when you and I met because I had a bully at school.
Ye- Okay.
Um, like a bully boy at
Yeah.
school, and you saw, and as soon as you were ever around me,
Mhm.
this guy left me alone, and I know he just had a crush on me because boys in elementary school, but
Facts.
like I was so terrified of him because he was so mean. And so whenever, and it was only at recess time, so like
Of course.
whenever recess
Yeah.
started, because I used to hide out in the classroom during
Mhm.
recess, so I wouldn't even go out in recess. But
Ah,
then, like, once you started, like, well, once you stood up to the bully, I started, like, beelined you. And just like, okay, where's Ryan? Oh, he's up by the big slide. You know the big slide?
I loved the big
The
slide.
big
That
slide.
was
Oh,
where we
yeah.
lived. That thing was so tall, and
Yeah.
probably OSHA would have gotten rid of it because it was just so dangerous. I think two
They
friends of mine
did
broke their
get
arm on
rid
it.
of it.
So they did get rid of it.
A big metal slide where, like, you bounce. Boing!
Where it's basically like the temperature of the sun in the summertime, where it was just you sit on it and you get a scalding second degree burn. It was awesome.
Worth it. Worth
Best,
it.
best ever. And it had a bump in the middle. So like you just launch your ass up and fall and break your tailbone and you just shake
Yeah.
it off because you're a 90s kid. And you're like, well, whatever, whatever. I'll walk it off
Right?
and deal with it. Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, but you were just so small. You were so
I
small.
know. I
You're
was such a
tiny.
tiny.
You're
I'm
tiny.
still tiny, but like
You're
back
not
then, it's
huge.
like, and it was quiet. I was also quiet
You
and
were very
shy
quiet. Yes.
because they used to have to like give me stickers every single time I spoke in elementary school. Like they used to give me like scented stickers. And my mom's like, I don't know what's wrong with her because she won't shut up at home. But like when I was at school, I just would not talk unless my mom was there.
Weird. Weird. Well, I mean that happens. My boys are actually right now they're very talkative now, but when they first started, they were very quiet. And then as they started, to get more comfortable in their classrooms, became
Yeah.
vocal. So I mean, I know it's just kind of
Yeah,
natural.
I think this like lasted definitely kindergarten, first and second grade.
Okay.
And then a funny story. Let's fast forward to
Forward.
middle school and high school
Yeah.
because I moved in fifth grade,
Yeah,
moved
I
to
did too.
Connecticut, and I was there for 3 years, and I came back to CK Middle, and then moved up to CK High. And so I was in the CK district during that time. You
Yep.
were over in Bremerton,
I
but
moved to
like
Bremerton. Yeah.
I had a new guy best friend,
Mm-hmm.
and this new guy best friend mentioned Ryan Oliver, and I
Yeah.
said, "Oh my God, how Ryan Oliver?
Yeah.
What?" And he's like, "He's my stepbrother,"
Isn't
and
that
so
freaking weird? Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Isn't that wild?
so
Just so just the coincidences are ridiculous.
yeah, I was because yeah, AJ and I were best friends all
Man.
through high school. Like we hung out all the time. And when he mentioned your name, I was like,
Mhm.
"You've got to be shitting me! Like, are you fucking serious? Like,
Fucking serious.
what are the chances of that?" And
Love.
so through AJ is how like we reconnected.
Yeah, isn't that wild? It's so wild. I just couldn't
So
believe it.
wild.
Yeah,
I know,
because
and
then
even my go on.
oh no, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I said even my dad, like when he's like, I said, hey, Dad, it's Ryan Oliver. He's like, oh my gosh, you guys went to elementary school. Like,
Yeah, yeah, he knows. That's what I told my
you
mother. I
know,
was like, "Yeah, I'm meeting with Janae. We're doing our 100," and he's like, "Oh my God, Jesus, that's so cool." I'm like, "Yeah, that's pretty awesome." And so she
right?
was like, "Well, what's cool is like 2019 is when I started pulling my book out of the closet again, and I was like, we had been contact with talking for God, probably 5 or 6 years, just back and forth,
Yeah,
texting and whatever, just saying, hey, checking in like old friends do, or young
yeah.
friends, lifelong young friends, as we've
I
determined
was
that
in
we
the
are.
thick of parenting because I got
Thick
married
of
in
parenting, yes.
2008, and then Obadiah was born 2009.
I can't believe he's a
Um,
teenager now. That's disgusting. He needs to
I
stop
know he's
growing.
15.
That's
15.
off.
He's
No, he
taller
can't
than
be.
me.
He can't be. No,
I
he's
mean,
got
it
to
doesn't
stop.
take much to be taller than me.
Tell him that's
To
true.
be honest.
Tell him to stop. Tell him to stop growing. That's so, how tall are
Oh,
you? Unless you don't want people to know how tall you are.
like I think I'm like 5'1",
Okay, yeah.
maybe ish,
Okay.
somewhere around there. And then so Obadiah, he is 4 or 5 inches taller than me.
Wow. He's
Rhiannon just
sprouting.
turned 11. Oh my God, he's poof. I was thinking that he was gonna be like, because he's built just like me. So I was like, oh, he's gonna be a shorty, like mama,
No,
because it's literally like copy paste.
I don't see
That
him being
child's
a
copy
basketball
paste.
player, but he is definitely his mother's son. Like I see pictures, I'm like, yep, that's Janae. That's
Oh
Janae.
yeah,
It's
it's
so
yeah,
it's so
it's
funny
so
to
crazy.
see. It's so freaky to see.
But like when he's by his dad, he looks a lot like his dad.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you'll pull
And
from
so it's
characters
just
as well.
it's just really wild. But sometimes we get like, oh, are you guys twins? Or like, no, this is my son because we literally like are we look the same, especially when he has longer hair.
Yeah, he's got the curly hair like
He
you
has
do.
my yeah. We're like, okay, bro, you're a teenager now. You're going to be getting a job. You need to look presentable, and
Yeah,
so it's like he has shorter
that's good. I
of
think
wearing jeans and pants more. So it's like, okay, we gotta set you up for success. And like the way that you dress, it kind of reflects on how you show up in the world and
yeah.
like the way that you look. Even though it's not all about appearances, if you feel grungy, you're not gonna show up as good if you're dressed for success.
Yeah. Well, the outward
You know?
appearance reflects the inner
Yeah.
thoughts and workings, in my opinion. It's as you think and how you're feeling and all that, your condition on the
Yeah.
internal reflects
A
externally
hundred
as well.
percent.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
So yeah, he's
He's getting
I
big.
think I think at 15 or so was when I met AJ, 14, 15.
Yeah, that sounds right. With
So
freshman, sophomore year around there.
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, because I think told me that he saw you at school, and I'm like, oh shoot, how's she doing? So that's so funny. Way back when in 2000 and what, six, seven,
Yeah,
2005.
because because he graduated in 2007.
Yep. Oh seven.
And so 2004, 2005.
Yeah, that's not, isn't that well? We're coming up on 20 years out of high school here in the next couple of years. Isn't that
I
crazy?
know.
That's
Yeah, it
gross.
is.
That's gross. Like, did you go to your 10 year?
I think so. I can't remember. It was very, I think I did go to my 10 years because I had two children at that time. So yeah,
Okay.
and it was very lame.
I didn't go to mine.
Like I would have expected a lot better. Being CK district and stuff, but our class, like whoever was good, I considered helping plan the 20th reunion because there was some balls dropped.
Yeah, it happens. They
Major
were
balls dropped.
they were shooting for the moon on ours. They wanted to do some kind of like crazy cruise something. I'm like, I am not
Oh,
paying for this. What are
cruise.
you, insane? Well, they wanted us to pay for all that. I'm like, oh, it's $2,000 a ticket. I'm like, go
Oh
screw
my
yourself.
gosh.
I'm not doing that. Like 10 years out of high
No.
school, I am not making that much money where I can just drop 2 G's per person to go say hi to people I really didn't care too much about. I have a few friends from my high school and I'm still in contact with them. Everyone else, I
Uh-huh.
don't really care. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Yeah. No, that's so true.
It
There are
happened.
some really close friends that I was
Yeah.
with in high school that I'm still close friends with. And it's always really interesting because, we're still in Kitsap, both of us are still in Kitsap County. And so we're like, you see people from younger years,
Yeah.
elementary, middle school, high school, walking around, and it's like it's so funny because people are like, "Oh my gosh, how are you?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, you ignored me in high school. Like I was the nerd getting scholarships. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know."
I was worried about my academics and you were smoking dope or something. Like, I don't know what the hell this was. I actually ran
It's
into an old
yeah,
elementary school friend actually at work one day. It was an orientation. He was moving from PSNS to Bangor. And I'm like, the guy looks so familiar. I'm like, he might be the same guy. The name looked familiar. He looked familiar, but he was super tall. He's like 6'6". The guy's huge. And he's like, "Did you go to this school?" I was like, "Yeah." "Did you go to, were you, you're, holy
did
crap." And it
you?
was just one of those things. We just didn't have time to sit and chat. And I think he's an engineer over in Bangor
Yeah,
now. So I'm like, that's cool. I just don't see him, but I'd love to chat with him and say hi and just kind of catch up.
yeah.
But that's kind of what we're doing here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's wild.
It is wild. So, for your book, do you have a title for your book yet?
No, so it's really interesting. So, like we chatted earlier, it's about like 2020 when I actually hired Patrick Snow. But I think I was like writing before that.
Hmm.
I have found that as I have gone through different things in my life, that writing about them, like pen to paper, just really helps me process that stuff. And then I
Yeah.
started noticing, like, as I'm like writing thoughts down and working through things, there's conversations that are happening with like friends and stuff, and it's like the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh my gosh, I just need to put all of this like into a book. And it's basically gonna just be a book about like, what is it gonna be? I am open to it transforming over the years because
Oh,
it really
yeah.
has. Because I was a wife, so it was gonna be like wife, mother, business owner, time management, stress and anxiety and depression.
Yeah, but
I've
maybe finding
you
yourself
know,
again too, because I mean, like
yeah,
when you're by yourself, when you're a couple for so long, and you're a mother and you work, you kind of lose and so you got to kind of
yeah,
find Janae again, as
yeah.
you go. And I think you have. I think the last,
Oh
year
yeah,
year or so,
yep,
you've
a
definitely
hundred
kind
percent.
of recentered, kind of focused, and go, where do I gravitate towards? So is it going to be? Do you think it's going to be kind of a memoir, or is it going to be a self help, or kind of a memoir self help kind of?
I'm thinking it's probably going to be like a mix between a memoir and a self help because
Okay.
I'm like my whole thing for me, like who I am, it's like I strive to be the best that I can be every single day, and
Yeah,
in a way, I expect whoever's hanging out with me to do the same thing.
I
It's
love
like
that.
we've got one fucking life to live. How can we set ourselves up for success and be like the best that we can be?
Hmm.
And so, I mean, some people really love that, and some people are extremely comfortable, which is why, like, I have a lot of people in my life who do really love and support me. I felt all of that love, a closer knit because I'm very like, why are you doing this?
Hmm.
Like, get your shit together. Like,
Yeah.
does this support the life that you want to have moving forward?
Hmm. Yeah, having a
And
trajectory, having a purpose, going somewhere.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so Um, I'm really, really great with like business. I've always been like just like natural, like helping businesses be
Yeah.
built, and like I'm really good with social media and a lifelong learner. So I love personal development, and I love like deep and meaningful conversations that people can take stuff away and learn. It's like whatever I put out, it just would make me so happy if somebody could take pieces of that and like
Yeah.
apply it to their life and like make a big difference. Because it's more than just me. It's like when you impact somebody's life positively, it's not just their life that you're impacting, it's everybody else in their circles. So it's like this ripple effect.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and so um,
Kind of being a good
yeah,
example.
yeah. And so the book is it's when I was reflecting about this over this last year, it's like, oh, I'm divorced. Okay, like is this book is the message still the same? Like what is that? This is something I didn't expect.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I'm gonna get a divorce. No, it's just like this relationship is no longer aligned with me. The book at the core is still the foundational pieces. It's
Okay.
still and now it's not so much and now it's not so much what relationship status you are in, whether you're married, single, situationship, whatever. Because here's the thing: when we get into like relationships, it's like this is an external thing.
Yeah.
We don't know how futures are going to be.
No.
Um, and if you base your life off of everything, like, trying to just like change who you are and what you do because you're in a relationship, well, what happens if that relationship ends? God forbid we don't want it to end,
No.
but like, and that's the same thing with like job, having a job. If you base all of that, like, you're going to a job and like
That
you're basing
identity.
off of your success off of that, you're taking on the identity. And so if that job changes, you're going to have an identity crisis. And I
Dude.
experienced something like that's the thing that I experienced over and over again is like this identity crisis.
Yeah.
But you know what? None of those things make me me.
Right.
I am at the core Janae.
Yep.
And I feel like there's a lot of, especially women, just because, a lot of the people who I'm in connection with, we are mothers. We have children. Some work outside of the home, some are building a business inside of the home. And it is hard.
Yeah, it
And
is.
what I'm realizing is that yes, men do have the same problem. It's just hard. Life is hard.
Life is
Life is
hard.
hard. I feel
Uphill
like
battle.
though
Unscathed.
um, women seem to be a little bit more emotional.
Sure. Yeah. I
You
mean, that
know,
is their
like
nature.
like like we for a most part,
Yeah.
men can handle a lot more heavier stuff like emotionally than like women. Like women, we do carry a lot of emotions. We're very intuitive. It's that motherly connection that we
Mm.
have to people. But like I feel like men overall do so, so much that like better at carrying a load.
Yeah, I
Like
definitely
they
think they're
they
good at compartmentalizing. I think they're definitely good at
maybe that's what
compartmentalizing.
it is.
Yeah, because I think both men and women feel very similar. It's just how they've been taught to react to certain things. Because
Yeah.
like when you're younger, it's okay for you're a little boy, you can cry. Girls, okay, yep, you're gonna cry. But as they get older,
Yeah.
it's kind of seen as, I think that's changing a little bit socially, but you still have the boys, you have to be strong. You can't show emotion. You have
You
to
can't
be
show emotion.
deadpan
Yeah.
when you go through hard things. And I think that's a part of it, but I think self-expression still needs to be a part of it because I mean, you look at
Yes.
like suicide rates for guys, it's a lot higher than women. I
It
think
is. It
part of
is.
that is because they do things more destructive internally. Women, I think, a little healthier with actually communicating with friends, family, a little more open. I think we should definitely be pushing
Yeah.
boys and guys to be a little more open with somebody, whether it be a therapist, your family, friend.
Yep.
100% need to be
No,
that.
that's a really good point. And I think there's a lot of like misconception and misunderstanding and miscommunication.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
because yeah, that is so I love that perspective because it's not just I think maybe it's because there are more women who stay at home and take care of the kids.
Yeah,
And so like
naturally
so
more
maybe
nurturing.
that maybe that's what I was trying to get at is it's more common for women to stay at home and raise the kids.
Yeah,
And then like we said earlier, like you can lose yourself in the
yeah,
midst of I call it wiping boogers and butts. You lose yourself wiping boogers and butts for a living.
yeah,
And so it's like you have this desire to like do more, but then depending on how you were raised,
yeah.
it
What
might
else
go
are you gonna do
it,
after that?
yeah, it might go against. And I definitely felt this pressure. Like I was told that, my children and my husband should be enough. And like if I'm desiring more, then my heart's not right or whatnot. And so it's like
Yeah, I
for
don't think.
years and years it was like this constant back and forth. And it's like, no, I have always had like an entrepreneurial
Yeah, you
like
have.
soul from the very get go and like very creative. It's like over the years, like I just felt like things were just cramping it and cramping it and cramping it.
Hmm.
And then like being told like, oh my God, you're the problem. Like basically I'm the problem. Something's wrong with me. So that's when I really like started like deep dive healing.
Right.
So the thing about me is like when I decide to do something, I go all in
Yeah.
and I deep dive. Like it, like this last week, I have been deep dive healing. I have done multiple like different like meditations and guided breathing and journaling and reflecting and like
Sure.
I have so much clarity. And there was a couple of people that were like, "Oh my gosh, you're doing that like 2 times, 3 times this week." And somebody else said the thing about Janae is that she goes deep. Once there's like, oh, I need to work on this. It's like I'm very tenacious and I just need to do it. So um yeah, I've been deep dive healing. And years ago, it's like, okay, well, if I'm the problem,
Hmm.
then let me go to counseling, let me read books, let me, kind of like self correct. And then it dawned on me that I wasn't the problem
Mm.
because typically when you have somebody who, no, I do have problems. I'm
I mean,
definitely far from perfect.
everyone, no one's perfect, and no one is perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But all of the stuff that I was being told for years and years, like I'm not the problem. Like I am proactively healing. I'm proactively taking responsibility for things that I had a part in.
Yeah, of course.
And proactively
That's
like,
very adult of you.
yeah, that
Yeah.
I try and do that. It's like if somebody calls me out, I'm just like, oh, sorry, I fucked up. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Thank
Claim your
you for
shit.
bringing that to
You know what I
my
mean?
attention. And like I am going to work on correcting this. It's
Hmm.
not like, hey, I'm sorry, and then like you repeat the same thing over and over again. No, you're not being sorry.
Right.
Take responsibility for your part,
To try
and
to course correct your behavior and then go from
yeah,
there. Yeah. Yeah. If it
yeah, and
really
so
affected people negatively. Yeah.
yeah, and so um, it's been really really crazy how things have kind of transformed. Like, I mean, where I was 4 years ago when I first started writing this, it's almost like a completely different
Yeah.
life.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like when
That
I
might be better
started,
for it, actually. That might be even better because you'll have
that's
your notes and
exactly what I was
journaling.
thinking.
Yeah, because you'll
Mm-hmm.
have your notes and journaling
Yep.
from because you journal a bunch, don't you?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I have to.
Yeah.
So it
That's
keeps me
great.
mentally sane.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, it's funny. I've done a little journaling. I do it on and off. It's like occasionally I'll go on there and I'll do it. And it's funny to look back 2, 3 years ago and then
Oh
go, wow,
yeah.
that was a different perspective. I was a different mindset back then. Now I'm a little better here.
Exactly.
You can kind of catalog it really cool. And I know it definitely
Yeah.
seems like it's almost like the journey through life for you and like, dealing with
Yeah.
being in relationships, finding yourself. Cause I mean, it's a lifelong journey. It really is.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what, because I was kind of like when I realized that I needed to move forward with a divorce because patterns were going to keep repeating.
Sure.
And again, it comes back to I want to live the best life that I can be and not be limited.
Hmm.
And if I'm proactively taking responsibility, proactively going to counseling, proactively learning, then I I do expect my partner to do the same thing
Sure. Grow.
so we can like support and grow. And so if and what I discovered through counseling is that 9 I think it was like 95% of relationships can work if both partners are willing to take responsibility
Yes.
and work on changing together.
Yeah. Growing.
Um,
I don't even think that as a changing necessarily as growing together.
yes,
You know what I
growing
mean?
together.
That's
And
really
like,
what it is.
yes, yes, growing together. Like
Hmm.
it is possible if both people are 100% in.
Yeah.
And so, the patterns that I was seeing reflected that my partner at the time was not on that same trajectory, and then there was just a lot of like deeper level stuff that just it's like okay, I it's like we've been together for a long time, we've
Yeah.
tried counseling, we've tried this, it's like I just I can't continue to do this. I mean, Ryan, you saw me,
Hmm.
like I've since since my it was actually um 2 years ago this week. It was either I think it was the 13th, two
Mhm.
years ago on the 13th um of November, where I stood up and I said, no, we're getting a divorce. This is
Yep, you're
happening.
done.
I'm getting off of this. Like, and I was 25, 30 pounds less than what I am today.
Oh, wow.
I was almost I think I was the tiniest I had ever been,
You don't,
because
and
this
you
is
didn't
the
have that much to spare.
I know.
You
I
don't
I
have
have
long.
been
You're not very
I know
large. You're very
I
tiny.
know I know. I have been up over 100 pounds, which is a big fucking deal for me.
Sure.
For over 6 months.
Good
I have
job.
never been over 100 pounds unless I've been pregnant, and I am not pregnant. Not pregnant, not pregnant. And so it's like, for me, my mental emotional health
Mhm.
really impacts my physical health. And so,
Absolutely.
I look back on things from years ago, and it's like I was unhealthy.
Mm.
I was in an environment that it wasn't supportive. It was constant flight and fight. So like over this last year, there's been a lot more deep dive healing,
Yeah.
because it's being with somebody for 18 years. Like, it's almost like at a subconscious level, I've had to stop and like, where's this coming from? Why am I feeling this way? And through this whole journey, it's like, wow, there are so many men and women
Hmm.
in the same exact situation that I have been in for years. I have gotten so many messages, and like conversations with people that are asking me questions about my personal journey, and how did I know it was time, and how did I do this, and then so it's like, through this I'm like, oh, this book, the foundational principles are still the same.
Yeah.
It's just my life is different, and I think that's the point. Is that the foundation of the book, to help, to give like a handbook or like a tool, a memoir. Like, I've always been really, really big on, I don't like to air out the trash of the shit
Fair.
that has happened,
Yeah.
but I want to learn and grow from these experiences, and I want to share it with people in a tactful way that doesn't push blame,
Right.
but helps people. And that's the one thing that I've also really had to learn over the last year. It's like, I felt like, oh, I couldn't share my story because I didn't want somebody else to look bad.
Mm, I see.
I don't want to. I don't want to. I feel like I can't do this because I'm afraid that if I say something like this, then it's going to think poorly about my ex, or
Right.
poorly about how I raised. And then I just had to realize that, one, I can't control what people think,
No.
do, or say. That's out of my control. I
Oh
can't
man.
control that at all. I also can't control the different types of versions that people see me and different stages of my life. So I
Yeah.
had to let that go. And the only thing I can control is myself and my actions, and how I move forward in life. Like, if is my intention pure and loving and serving people? I want to help people. I
Right.
want people to learn from what I've gone through, or is it to throw people under the bus and to be a victim? And I am not a victim.
No,
I could claim victim with everything that I have gone through
you don't want to
over
do that.
my entire life, but I am not a victim. And that's why I'm so headstrong about, like, people are like, are you going to cry about it, or are you going to boss up? First of all, I'm going to do both. I am going to create a space and cry and do whatever I need to do to process those emotions. And
Yeah.
then I'm going to boss up and get it done.
That's how
Um,
that's my wife will have a good cry every now and then because she's
yeah,
stressed and overwhelmed and she's
it's
like,
so
I'm
healthy.
like, you're doing okay? Yeah, I can she could put my big girl pants on and deal with it now. I said, perfect, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's
And
I mean
like,
it's natural. Everyone's gonna have a breakdown. You're gonna have that. It is totally human to feel what you feel. And
Exactly.
then it's what you do after. Okay, you got knocked off. I'm going to use a cliche. You got knocked off the horse. You're
Yeah,
going to get back on the damn thing. Yes. Okay, cool. Just keep moving on. Now you're going to learn from your mistakes. You're going to take
exactly.
what you learned and you're going to go forward. That's all it is. So how much have you written so far?
I have, I think, more than half of it written.
Hell yeah. Good
I,
job.
I just need to sit down. I know I keep, I know it's like, you're like, I've heard this 1,000 times, Janae. And like, it's all in perfect and divine timing.
Yeah.
And that's something I've had to learn over this last year is like to give myself grace and space because I am not in the environment that I was in for 18 plus years. I have extreme PTSD
Mhm.
and I am healing.
Yeah.
It is a constant day in and day night thing.
Sure.
Some days I have that better, sometimes, you know, but like I am still healing. I am still rewiring my brain of
Rewiring the brain. Yes.
was how I needed to change things about me to protect my heart and my space
Mhm.
in an environment that wasn't the best for me.
For your growth. Yeah.
Um, and so now that and then I kind of felt like it was like 2 steps forward, 1 step back
Mhm.
because I'm like, why is this coming up again? That's not my
It's
life anymore.
still
Like,
hard. It's
it's
still
not like,
hard.
and what my counselor said was, Janae, you are in a really healthy spot
Yeah.
and you feel safe enough
Yeah.
and safe in your body to be able to talk about these emotions and these feelings and process it. So it's
Yeah.
not that you're going backwards, you're continually moving forward
Right.
and you feel you're in a safe spot to be able to do that. And that's a beautiful thing. And
Exactly.
so I've definitely had to give, and like, going back to a little bit earlier, my feelings are my feelings, and whatever I'm feeling is valid.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what other people think
Just trust
or
yourself.
their opinions or anything like that. It's not their feelings, it's mine. And so it's like I need to take responsibility for that and do whatever, I need to do to process that in a healthy way. And feelings are okay. Feeling sad, feeling angry,
Yeah.
feeling, whatever the emotions are, those are valid. What you do with that makes the biggest difference.
Yeah. Trust yourself, trust your instincts. And it sounds like, honestly, it's probably better that you are, like I said, halfway done. I think, honestly, you're getting towards the point in your journey where you could probably get this book done in the next whoever. I'm not going to, put a
Oh yeah,
timestamp
yeah,
on you, but I mean, you've come to a lot of realizations the last year or so, what
yeah.
you've learned, what
Oh
you've
yeah,
dealt with, who you've talked to. It sounds like a great. Well, here's the beautiful thing about a book like yours. I know it's still very much in development, but the cool thing is you can get it done. You can get a version of it done, and then in a couple of years,
yeah,
as you grow and you learn more things and you reflect on some interesting lessons you've learned, you can throw that in as a version two. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
just like, hey, I've
No,
got
that's a
more
really great idea.
information, and it's just like, oh, I got this is 100
Yeah,
pages. Now it's 200 because I've got all these great stories and ideas. But the fact that you've journaled for so long, I think the hardest thing for you is going to be whittling down the most
yeah,
important pieces. Like that's going to be the hard
yep,
part. Like finding the foundations for happiness is kind of what it kind
yep,
of to me it sounds like foundation for happiness for self being self-reliant and everything like that. So it's a very tough, very personal story. It's
yeah,
not like it's fiction. You can just kind of turn it off. It's very you're returning back to the to the emotional,
yep,
you know,
yep,
fight or flight state by talking
yep.
about all those things. So I mean, it's
Yeah, and that's what I was experiencing too as I was trying to continue to write through the divorce. It was definitely like almost a trigger to
mhm.
reflect back on what I've
Oh hell yeah,
written.
yeah,
And so and that's when I was like, okay, well, I just need a journal. I just need a journal and write these. So
good,
at least I'm still processing things. I'm still doing things as life moves on. But
that's great,
it's like setting. Even when I was writing, I would turn on meditative music,
good,
and like set a timer and like lock my door so that way there's nothing. And then you know, um, having gone through a divorce, a lot of people have different opinions and stances about that. And so
Yeah.
It's like whatever I write, whatever, it's like I needed to almost like hibernation mode just to make sure like whatever however I'm moving forward in my life is what's best for me,
Mhm.
because whatever is going to be best for me is what's going to be best for everybody else in my life.
Right. Right.
Versus like, because I had people like, I'm a mother, like, don't you even care about your kids?
It's like,
Why
well,
don't you love your kids? And
that's
like,
like
I
not a
got
fair
so
question.
many mean and
Yeah.
nasty stuff. And then, it wasn't until after and I actually kept my divorce under like going through a divorce under wraps until it was pretty much finalized, because
Yeah.
I could not handle other people's opinions about my life. And like as time has gone on, people are like, oh my god,
Yeah. They don't know
yeah,
they don't know what you guys are
like
dealing
they
with.
they see it, they see things have played out over the last year, 2 years. They're like, oh yes, this was needed, and they see the difference in me and all of that. And they're like, okay. And I had to at one point tell my children, like, they didn't understand. They didn't see that mommy and daddy were having problems, or because we never did
Right.
that in front of them. We never fought. We never. And so I was like, do you guys trust mommy? And they're like, yes. I said, okay. I need you to trust me that even though this is hard,
Mhm.
it is the best choice
Yeah.
for our life.
Yeah. It's sad to say, it's hard to say, but I'd rather have two parents that are separated and happier than
Yeah.
two parents that are together and miserable. Like that really,
Yeah.
to me,
Yeah.
it's a lot healthier. Yeah, logistically, it's a little bit of a pain, gotta go from
It's
house to
it's
house.
it's a pain in the
I'm
ass.
I'm a, I'm a I'm
It
a
is.
kid of two divorces, so that was
Yeah.
I get it. And what's crazy is when I was going through the whole thing, because I was a kid of divorce, and went through some minor therapy stuff, and I really could not stand therapy. Therapy drove me crazy. But they talked to me about it, saying, it's basically like a death in the family,
It
because
is.
think about this. I mean, you guys are together for, it's almost 2 decades when you think about it. That's a
Yeah.
long
Yep.
time. That's a long friggin' time. So you're grieving the relationship, even though it
Oh
was
yeah.
one you were looking to, you're just like,
Yep.
it has to be over. I'm like, I gotta get out of this. It's still something you're having to completely change how your day-to-day life is. It's so
Oh
stressful.
yeah.
Completely.
Oh yeah.
Your
And
li-
still
your house is
grieving.
different. I mean, everything's different at that point. It's
Oh yeah.
very
It
much a
is.
grieving process.
It is. It hasn't stopped. Like there are days that are better than others, but even this morning,
Absolutely.
like I was having a moment,
Yeah.
and I just had to stop and go down by the water and just like ground myself,
Yeah.
because it is hard. It's just a change, but you have to be willing to
Kind of just take a
ground
leap.
yourself. Like know what you need to get it through it. And then like
Yeah.
I after I we told kids like, hey, it's happening and stuff.
Yeah.
I Everything that I did moving forward, I
Mhm.
asked their opinions about.
Yeah. Oh, the
I
kids?
like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm thinking about moving into this house. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Hey, I'm going to be hanging out with this person. What do you think about this? And just like consistently, it's not like, oh, like, ripping them out and like, okay, now you got to do this. You got to do wherever I go wherever I go. No, like,
Right.
it's like everything. And just recently, my kids were like, thank you for asking us. Thank you for asking. Because, it is. It's grieving. It's, in a way, I guess, like ripping.
Yeah,
Like,
kind of. Yeah.
it's hard. And so like I'm really intuitive, and I'm really connected to my children, but really all children. I'm
Sure.
really like I can come alongside a child and just like comfort them, and I know what to say. Like I'm just very, very, that's one of my superhero powers.
Sure.
And so it's like, I realized how hard it was, and that's why I waited almost 5 years, because 5 or 6 years ago I
Yeah. I
told
mean,
them I wanted a
if you've
divorce,
been,
and I just
yeah.
never went through with it.
If you've been reflecting on
And
it that long and
so,
it keeps coming back, it makes sense. It's like, okay,
yeah,
well,
it's like,
you
okay,
tried to you
like
tried to mend the fences if you could.
patterns are still going,
Right.
and patterns
Right.
are going to continue to go unless something's going to continue to happen unless you
Ops.
stop it.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So
just
you can't hope for something to get better when something has happened over and over and over
correct.
again. You just need
Correct.
to be brave and do the hard thing and just know it is going to be tough. But hey, years down, even though it's still tough, it's a different type of tough. It's more like tough grieving. But my life, where I am today, oh my gosh,
Breath
it
of
is
fresh air.
the best. Like I can't even believe that this is my life. Which I mean, kind of leading into did I so I do social media work? Did I tell you what I recently have done? I
You
can't
were on the
remember if I.
yeah, we got on a conversation about an hour. I want to say it was like late summer, early fall. We were on the
Okay,
phone for an hour and you said you got like a certification? You graduated from something?
okay. Um, so I was yes. So I was like, when did we talk? Was it before October?
I want to say it was in September.
Okay, okay. I have some really exciting news.
Cool.
So, yes, I am in a digital marketing course, which is wrapping up here very, very soon with
Yeah.
Gonzaga.
Oh, through
And
Gonzaga?
basically,
Nice.
yeah, it's a
Awesome.
certification, a 10-week certification through Gonzaga. Gonzaga. I think it's Gonzaga. Gonzaga.
Yeah,
Gonzaga.
whatever.
It's Zaga.
Gonzaga, Zaga, 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 whatever.
Oh, maybe it is Zaga. Okay.
Gonzaga?
Anyways, it's
Whatever.
super cool. Trained by the best in digital marketing, which means SEO and websites and Google business profiles and paid advertising through Google email marketing, social media, which the social media part, I've been doing that for over a decade.
You've been
I
doing
didn't really
a
learn
lot.
I didn't really learn anything new when it came to the social media aspect. It
Sure.
was just a really good confirmation that what I'm doing is spot on what the top
Cool.
digital marketers are teaching. So I was like, yes, that's why I'm so freaking awesome at
Got
that.
some good validation.
Yeah, and so, but I'll have like 4 certifications here
Nice.
for all those other things that I just didn't know how to do. I stepped away from the company that I was with in October
Mhm.
and I bought my LLC and my business license.
Oh, yeah.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Nice.
Super. Yes, I was super super excited about this. So my company's name is New Light Marketing Co.
New Light Marketing Co.
Uh
I
huh.
New Light. You know what? That sounds New Light. That sounds
Mm-hmm.
like a good book title, just saying.
No,
Oh yeah.
so this
Oh
is
yeah.
when it gets really really wild and crazy because like the whole business model is like you know yes, I'll have my standard packages for people, but I'm also going to have a way for people to apply for like scholarships for a
Oh yeah.
discounted rate
Oh cool.
to help business owners, people who are wanting to expand their organization, nonprofit, business, whatever. They
Yeah.
need social media help, but they just can't do it because they have gone through a huge life shift like myself. Like I going through this divorce and basically having it's literally a brand new chapter
Yeah.
and I felt like a I'm in my mid 30s with 3 children and I felt like I was fresh out of high school as far as like income and job and I
Very turbulent.
yeah and it's like it's not that I don't want to invest in these amazing business things, it's
Yeah.
I can't and I fell through the cracks. I made just enough to not be able to get food stamps, housing assistance, different things like that, but barely enough to like pay my bills.
Sure. Sure.
It's
My
and it's
economy is
like
kind of
so
crazy.
it's like if I invest in this business thing that will yes help my business grow,
Yeah.
I don't have food for my kids to eat. Now, granted, I know friends and family would probably never let me do that, but when you're it's hard. It's
Yeah.
very very hard to ask for help. I've gotten better at asking help over the years, over the this last year, and I do realize that I have way more support than what you know I actually call on.
Yeah. 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 Oh,
um,
that's usually the
and
case, especially
so,
from good families. So I mean,
oh yes,
you just
and
don't want
so
to admit you need the help. It's so hard. It's so
yeah,
hard.
it's so hard.
I
It's
think it's a
so hard.
firstborn thing too.
Yeah, it is a
I think
hundred
it's a
percent.
firstborn
Like
thing.
you know, Um, and so I want to be able to reach small business owners here in like born and raised here in Kitsap County. It's my heart to help business owners with a passion to expand their business or nonprofit.
Oh yeah.
I foresee a nonprofit being born through this
Cool.
business because like yes, you get new light and new perspective in your social media,
Yeah.
and but you also get new light, new perspective, new hope when you work with me directly.
Yeah.
And it's especially for those business owners who are really, really struggling.
Yeah.
It's and then my hope is that when my business grows, I can hire people who were in the same situation that I was
There you
in to be
go.
able to give them some income with some flexibility. So I am really, really excited about all of that
That's so cool.
coming. And I'm trying to get like the pieces. I already got my LLC, I already got my business license, working on a website, logo, and just really like getting all of that. But
Hell yeah.
all of this connects so deeply with the book that I'm writing.
So cool.
It's like this whole big, like, complete picture
Yeah.
and perfect divine timing. Like,
Yes.
it's like, yes. And, yes, I've gone through like a lot over my life, but I would 100% not change it because everything that I have personally experienced over the years has led me to this point.
Right.
And that is beautiful. As hard as life is and how stressful it was, especially over the last year, I wouldn't change anything because
Yeah.
it's so beautiful and so perfect. And, it's impacting. I'm able to use my story to impact.
That's so
Um,
exciting for your business, though. I know you were.
oh, I'm so
That's so
excited.
cool. Well, I was always wondering about that because we were talking, God, years ago, because we reconnected back in late 2019, early 2020. I think it was late 2019 because I started working. Yeah, no, 2020 because we started going to Mary West
Yes.
networking because that's how we got that's how you got me going with this. Is I said, hey, she was selling books because you work for Usborne.
Yep. Yes. Formerly Usborne Books and More. Now we had a huge rebrand a year and a half ago
Yeah.
to Paper Pie Books Made to Share.
Okay. So yeah, so you got me, you were doing that and you were, you sold us a couple books and we saw you at fairs and everything. It was really cool
Yep.
and really good quality books. And I was like, hey, the person who might know how to get into this whole writing books and promoting crap is
Yeah.
Jeanne. She knows some stuff and I'm sure she knows
Yeah.
people. And sure enough, you did. You're like, here's a person you want to
Mhm.
get in contact. And so I need to have Mary on here. I haven't had Mary West on here yet.
I know you
Yeah.
do need to have Mary on
Yeah.
here and Patrick if you haven't had
I've had
Patrick.
Patrick. Patrick was like
Okay,
my
perfect.
fifth guy, fifth author I had. Mary's not is Mary hasn't written a book yet, has she?
She has,
She
and
has.
she has. Well, she's been a
She was talking about
co.
writing one.
She is currently writing one.
Okay,
It's
I knew she was
going to
writing
be.
one.
I think it's going to be like
I gotta call her up.
her goal was to have it like going to the printers or
Oh
something
hell yeah!
by October, November, or something.
I gotta have to look
Um,
here. I've been waiting on
so
her to get one out.
I think spring of next year is because her and Tammy White,
Mhm.
are going to do like a book launch together.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, her and then Valerie Harris, another one I wanted to talk to because I think she's done marketing forever. I think she said she wanted to get a book done. I'm not sure if she's ever going to do a book, but I think she'd be a good guest to have on here for talking about marketing, just like you'd be great talking marketing too.
She's amazing.
Yeah,
Val's been doing marketing forever.
so long. He's an expert. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, so
just
long. And she actually did social media management for a while, but over this last year, her business has kind of shifted and changed where she really loves the coaching aspect.
cool.
So like coaching people
Oh yeah,
how to market their business, which essentially is marketing yourself if you
yeah.
think about
It
it,
is. It is.
And so she's always been amazing at that
Yeah,
stuff. So I'm really, really happy she's a friend and we've been able to like over the years been able to chit chat.
yeah.
And she was like one of my biggest supporters when I told her that I was a couple years ago when I was thinking about going into social media management and
Yeah.
how all that and I was kind of sitting on that for a few years. And then when I started going through that divorce, that's when I found myself being cramped with expressing myself. I felt like I couldn't do that on my own social media platform. And so I took over Lone Star Donut social media, and I've been managing their social media for over 2 years. And I loved that. And I was like, I want to help more small businesses
That's
be
so
able
cool.
to do that and just like be confident in I've really learned like just to be really confident in what, even though I don't have like official certifications. Well, now I do.
Now you
I
do.
just I did that because I wanted to be able to offer more value to my
Or
clients
perceived value.
and also learn.
Right, because you already have a lot
Um,
of valuable
yes,
experience, but it's just like, oh, now I have a thing that says that I'm actually whatever. Y-
actually, yeah.
Right.
And
It's like, well, what
I
certifications
had
do
to
you have?
make sure.
Yeah.
Yes, and I had to make sure like what's the reason for me wanting to get this certification? Is it to prove to other people like, hey, I'm certified, or is it to grow and to offer more
Mhm.
value in areas? And so I definitely because I've gone back and forth about like coaching and like social media. I mean, I call myself a coach. I've been doing coaching, business coaching for over a decade as well.
Yeah.
And so I considered like going when it came to the coaching realm, it's like, well, I would literally just be doing the certification to say, oh look, I've done it. With the social media, it was like, no, I want to make sure that I'm at the top of the game, my game,
Yeah.
and up to date because social media is always changing and you
Yeah, it's
really
definitely
need to know you need to really be on top of it because it is ever changing
right.
and a lot of people spend way too much time and energy on social media and then it's like why is this not happening? It's because it's not it's changed and
Yeah.
I enjoy learning about social media, looking at the stats in the back and all that stuff. I
Are you a data
love
nerd? Are you a data nerd?
I am. I
Cool.
tried to
I like
resist that
numbers.
for a long time. Yeah.
What's
It's
wrong with
super
that?
funny because I'm pretty sure I have where you swip switch
Oh,
the letters and
dyslexia?
numbers. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have that.
Sure. There's a lot of
Pretty
people who
sure I
do.
have dyslexia.
I met a lot of people with
And
dyslexia.
so
They
like when it came to like
manage.
reading and numbers, like I never really like liked that.
Sure.
But like I do enjoy seeing people win and
Hell yeah.
numbers. You can see
You
that.
can kind of prove
But
that, right? Well, I want
yeah,
to
it's
circle
like, oh
back.
yeah.
I want to circle back to when we first met because it was funny. I was talking to Mary and Val when we were doing our meetings before 2020 hit, when we had stopped doing in-person meetings. Because if you don't know, guys, Mary West is a networking group in Kitsap County. She's been doing it for God forever, forever.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I met there a couple times, and they told me that from when you started to present day, mine is a few years ago when I actually talked to them in person, your level of confidence went from
Mm-hmm.
nothing to speaking in front of groups of 20 people. And
Yeah.
so it's really cool to see your progression and now you're confidently starting your own business. You started your own business, you got certs, you're
Yeah.
making money, you're doing things, you're being independent. It's so cool to see. So it's just like it's so again, I think your journey, you're so you've come such a long way. And even whenever you decide the book is finished, that's when it's going to be time to put it out. And I think
Yeah.
you're the one who dictates it. You're the driver's seat. I think it's going to be great whenever it comes out. If it takes you 2 more years, cool, because you had 2 more years of growing and learning to do. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, you're
Exactly.
learning. It's awesome. So I think this is great. This is so cool to see progression in time and just all the stuff you learn is just wild,
Oh yeah.
wild.
It's all like full circle over, especially over like the present day. It's like just reflecting over everything, and I'm like, oh my gosh, everything is in perfect divine timing.
Yeah.
Sometimes we like to like beat ourselves up, like, why didn't we already do this? It's like, like there's a perfect time to everything. And, I wasn't avoiding stuff. It just wasn't the best time for my life. I needed to shift focus and I needed to do some deep dive healing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that first Mary West Network meeting that I went to, I didn't really know what I was going to be doing. And I was so
Sure.
terrified. I had to stand up in front of a group. And so it's so sweet because whenever I speak or whenever I'm at a meeting, there's like these core original people that are like, oh my gosh, like you're my superhero. It's these people are older than me. Most of them
Oh,
can be my parents, and they're
by a
like,
lot.
we look up to you. We look up to you.
So crazy.
And I'm like, oh my God, like I look up to you. Like like I look up to you. You guys are amazing, and have I've just learned so much from everybody. But I guess that's what really makes a good relationship. It's like there's this give and take of like
Yeah.
learning from each other and encouraging each other, kicking each other in the ass when you need it.
Well, it's admiring the other person for their strengths and then trying to, that's really what it is. It's like you're admiring your friends, family, spouses, whatever, loved ones for their strengths. And then you don't, judge them for their weaknesses. And that's really about it. Or helping them if they're trying to improve their weaknesses, you help them with their weaknesses or you balance each other out.
Yeah.
That's really what with relationships, especially and friendships and businesses. I mean, that's another thing. You want a strong business relationship with people, but the thing about
Yeah.
it's only business. Like, no, it's personal. Personal, everything's personal. Everything's
Yes.
personal. Business is personal too. Oh, it's just business. No, no,
It
no, no,
is.
no. It's personal
It
because
is.
this reflects how I do with the rest of my life.
Yes.
How you carry yourself in business, how you carry yourself in everything else.
Yep.
So, it's so
It
cool
is.
that they admire you and you're, half their age. Some of them are half their age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what really it's so funny because yes, I'm still doing books. I'm coming up on 11 years. I'm gonna plan like a celebration in January. I'm thinking like January 11th to kind of
Sure.
keep with the 11
Mm,
theme because yeah, I gotta do some planning to celebrate 11 years with my book business.
yeah.
It was super super funny just with books in general and reading and connecting with authors and marketing and social media and all of that. Like it's all connects and interweaves. But
It
I
is.
hated to read when I was a child.
Isn't that funny?
Hated it.
Isn't that funny?
And in high school, I um had to go to a reading class because in high school I was at a third grade reading level.
Wow.
Like that's insane.
Yeah,
Third grade reading level in high school. And, it's not just reading, it's like the confidence that comes along.
that's crazy. And then you just
Um,
skyrocketed. When did you start liking reading then?
so it wasn't until I was a mother, because see, it's not just about like reading, it's reading connects with everything
It
in your life.
does. It
Like
does.
if a child isn't confident in reading, then they're gonna lack self confidence. They're going to lack other skills in their classes like history, reading about history and like math, reading
Yep.
numbers and equations and stuff. And then, imagine you being a kid and struggling. It's really hard because then all it's like, oh my gosh, are these kids gonna laugh at me? And so it's so
Tough.
important
Yeah.
to be able to start at birth, birth, introducing books and reading and taking that time. And so I realized that when I started having children of my own and the struggle with yes, reading, but really in school
Hmm.
all throughout. Like, I mean, I graduated and I earned some scholarships, which was absolutely shocking for me. Uh, really turned the key on that one because
Sure.
yeah, I struggled through most of my schooling because there was some learning problems that I had that I didn't get help on, and it just wasn't aware. And then I was getting help in reading, but you know how embarrassing it is to be in high school reading third grade. It's so hard.
I can
It's
definitely
so
see that.
hard.
Yeah.
And so when I started having kids, I was like, I do not want my children to experience
Right.
every that same thing. I want to set them up for success. I want them to do well in school. And I knew that that meant early access to books.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of when I got introduced to Paper Pie. is, just really good quality books. And, started reading to my children more. I just had Obadiah at the time, and then finally decided to join Paper Pie's mission almost coming up on 11 years.
Wow.
And, you know, the books really helped my daughter because she had a lot of my middle daughter was not progressing as quickly as my oldest.
Sure.
And so it's like, is this, a thing, or is this, does she need help? It's so hard to figure that out when you're a young parent.
Yeah. How do you pin that down? Is
So
it ability or is it desire?
yeah,
Or is it both?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for her it's a mixture of both, but she was also like a very active child, and so
Mhm.
like getting her to like sit down and read was nearly impossible. But with the Usborne Publishing and the Kane Miller Publishing books through Paper Pie, she sat in my lap, and because there's like tactile books, there's books that help with whatever, and that's really like you need to capture kids' interest in reading,
Do. Yeah. Engagement.
reading through play, or like learning through play, reading through play. Capture their interest now, really within the first 0 to 5 years, because that sets the foundation for literally the rest of your life. Like we're publishing books for people who are not kids. These are, they are like middle school and above,
Yeah.
essentially, is what there's a lot of authors who are publishing that. Well, I mean, if you think about it, most adults, like, there's a stat, I haven't looked at it in a little bit, but like 19% of high schoolers enjoy reading.
19.
And at kindergarten, 100% of
Oh, wow.
children like to read or be read to. And
Mm-hmm.
so we're losing a lot of people.
Yeah. I wonder if that's part of the schools too. Because I know when I was a kid, maybe you experienced it too in elementary school, but we had it where the teacher was reading to us, reading books to us, like not just children's books like at the library, but I mean at in class, like the fourth and fifth grade, my teacher after recess, lunch recess, we came in and she settled us down for about a half hour and would read a chapter or read half a chapter of like when the Harry Potter books came out. And it was just
Yeah.
so engaging and fascinating that we wanted to dive. I know that's what hooked me on reading things like fantasy,
Yeah.
so I
No,
don't know
and
if they're
that
doing that.
that plays into it.
Oh yeah,
That
absolutely.
definitely plays into it. The major thing is that at that kindergarten age, people are like, books are active. Like
Yeah,
parents are usually pretty active, but then once, just just between kindergarten and third grade, it cut about half.
that's crazy.
So like 45, 50% of third graders enjoy being read to. So what's the big difference?
Yeah.
Big difference is that children are in school, they're reading and learning in school, quotations. And so, parents don't have usually have the active role. And there's no shame in that, because I am a parent, and yes, I get that. Like, you know what? I actually have all three of my children have struggled with reading.
Yeah.
My youngest is currently in a special reading program, and I am a book lady and a book lover. And so, it's okay. There's no shame in that. Life gets
No.
busy. It's like,
Well,
how do you incorporate like different habits to
sure.
to to do that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like for my kids, like my oldest struggled for a while with reading. He just wasn't as interested. He loved math. He's a math kid.
Yeah.
Math and science. Now, mind you, we both just said this, math, you need to have reading to advance in your science and your math because eventually you have reading
Yep.
problems and everything like that. Well, it was just so funny because he hit fourth grade, third, fourth grade, and he had a different teacher. And all of a sudden his reading increased, his ability increased. And they're like, well, what's funny? He's just not a fast reader. I was like, oh, okay. But does he comprehend? Because his comprehension is awesome. I said, I don't care.
Oh,
Perfect.
perfect.
Right there, I don't
Yeah.
give a shit because he can read it and understand. That's the whole
Yep.
point of reading is communicating
Yes.
via text. If he doesn't
Yep.
read a mile a minute, I don't give a lick. As
Yep.
long as he understands, it might take him an extra 30 minutes, big deal. And after and as he goes on, he'll go
Yeah.
faster. It's just like with anything else.
Yep.
My youngest is the same way. He can comprehend, but when it comes to reading it, he's not as a fast reader. My wife was the same way. She didn't really get into reading until she was an adult, till she was a mother, and she wanted some downtime.
Yep.
So she picked
Yep.
a book up that she liked. She read started with little novellas because
Yep.
when you look at a big chunky book, you're like, that's
Oh yeah.
intimidating. That's
Yes.
super intimidating.
It
Me, I was
still
like, give me the
intimidates
chunkier the
me.
better. I was always give me a book I could kill someone with,
Not
basically.
me.
Yeah. So, but
Not
now
me.
now she's reading, 500-page books and having a great time. So
Yeah.
it's interest and time, and you develop. You're not just going to be instantaneously the best reader.
Correct.
You get better, but it's the stories that keep coming you back, or the information. Like you and I like nonfiction and fiction. It's the
Yes.
information that keeps driving. It's that desire
And it's
for
like
more info.
it's finding books and not so much books, like interest. Like
Yeah, it's
what do
interest.
people like? And so I was actually just talking to one of my team members who's a book lady, and
Yeah.
she does quite a bit of book fairs down in Nevada, and she was doing middle school, and I
Yeah.
said, you have to approach things differently. It's not, oh, what books do you like to read? Because most children these days, with technology advancements and all that, it's like, oh, reading, no. It's like, what do you enjoy watching on TV?
Yeah.
What are the activities that you
You like
enjoy
to do.
doing?
Yeah.
Because then you can match up a book. Because I do believe that everybody genuinely loves to read and enjoys reading. They just haven't found a topic or a book that they like.
Yep.
And I'm a perfect example because I hated books and I hated reading.
Hmm.
And it's just, I didn't find something. And time after time, when I'm working with, I've worked with hundreds, probably thousands of people over the last decade,
Yeah.
um, like with books, it's, finding topics and books. And then because I'm an avid book lover and realize that, reading and books impact lifelong
Yeah.
people's journey, like it is
Lifelong.
vitally important for everybody to, enjoy books and people writing books and, creativity, like the whole book. It's important on so many different levels.
Yeah.
It's finding what people enjoy and
Enjoy.
connecting with the people.
Yeah.
And then, even if there's books, there's been so many times where I have come across people who, I Paper Pie doesn't provide books
Mhm.
that, so it's like, oh, hey, you like mythical type stuff? My friend Ryan, he's like, I refer people like, oh, so that's why I love getting to know different authors,
Same here.
to see like what they're doing,
Yep.
because it's like, oh, I can. It's like being a connector of like the books. Like, oh, I don't have something, or like
Yeah.
even if I do have something, you like this type of book. Well, you really love these books. Plus,
I gotcha.
my
Yeah.
friend, my friend wrote it, and so it
Mhm.
just makes it like really really more special and personal, like a personal journey.
It
It's like, yes,
does.
it's reading a book, but it's also like, I know this person who
Supporting that
wrote it.
person. Yeah. Isn't
Yeah,
that cool? I love doing that with the
it is.
podcast. It's fun because I'll talk to someone like, man, I'm really looking for a new read. Like, what are you into? Oh, I really like historical fiction. Well, since I've been doing this for God, going on 3 years now, that's insane.
Yeah.
2 years, three, whatever. It's been a while. Going on quite a bit. And oh, I have 18 authors just in the back of my head.
Yep.
Like, what do you like? Do you like World War II? Do you like, Lincoln? Do you like just, whatever? And like, yeah, like
Yep.
this. Cool. Go look at this
Yep.
person's stuff and check it out. It's pretty good. And it's
Yes.
just
Yep.
fabulous to be able to kind of pull and draw from that. And it's just supporting. I love supporting the locals. Actually, not even just
I
locals.
do. Yes.
This channel, this podcast has been able to talk to people from all over the world now. So I've got a gal I talked to from England, got a guy who was originally born in Ireland, talked to people from Canada. I
Amazing.
mean, it's crazy.
I love how it's expanded over the years, and to see like how
Wild.
you have also grown and expanded over the years too. It's like, yes.
Trying
Like
to, it takes
who
time.
would have thought? Who would have thought when you're like, oh, I'm thinking about pulling this out of the closet,
Right.
you would
That
be
this
where you
happened.
are at today? And like
No
me just
kidding.
being bold and courageous, like, what are you even doing? No, do it.
Yeah.
Like
Get
your
get
work
out there
needs
and
to
do
be put
stuff.
out. And then, here we are 4 years later, and
Yeah.
there's literally been hundreds of people that have been impacted through by you pulling out that dusty notebook in the closet.
It was
and doing
dusty, that's for
something with
sure.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so cool. And it's I have a hard time like taking I'm suck at taking compliments. It's like I don't know about how you are. I suck at taking compliments.
I am getting better at it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I don't know if I am or not. I kind of like stall. It's so weird. Like, oh yeah, this guy's got this and he does this, and I'm like, stop bragging. Stop No, no, I'm not cool. Like I just do this for fun. Like it's just such a hard thing to
Yeah,
like
no, it is cool.
sell. It
It
is
is cool.
cool, but it's just so hard for like me promote me. I
Yeah.
have a hardest time. So like doing
Well,
this is great to promote other people, and then in turn, okay, I get a little bit of splashback also, which is great. But it's just such a it's so weird. It's kind of a mental gymnastics on how you have to go
no,
about
it
it.
is.
You
It
don't
is.
want to be over braggy, but you're like, what I do is kind of cool, and you should
No,
check it
it is.
out.
It's
But don't
fucking cool.
on the down low because I don't want to be braggy. You know what I mean? It's so
Yeah.
weird.
Oh, I 100% know what you mean. And that's
Yeah,
actually an opportunity to like lean in, grab a journal and like why is it hard for you to accept compliments? It
yeah,
probably goes back way back.
way
But it's
back.
like, yes, way back.
100%.
But it's an opportunity to heal and like,
Yeah,
it's also look at it from a different perspective. Somebody is giving you a compliment and you're
yeah,
not taking it. Like
yeah.
it's like you're basically taking their compliment and like throwing it away. And
Kinda,
so
yeah.
when I get that in my head, like I'm like I just now say thank you. Or if somebody
Oh
says
yeah.
you're awesome, I said thank you, I am. Like, it's like,
Well,
thank you, because I do struggle with that. I'm like, no, it's okay. Like, no, it's
yeah.
like, but then for me, it's like, no, I'm a fucking hard worker and I am really, really good at what I do. And it
Yeah.
feels really, really good to be
It's
recognized
yeah,
for the
it is.
amazingness that I do. Cause my past,
Right.
it's like, I'm being braggy. I'm being too much. I was always told I'm being too much. I'm being too bold. And it's like taking that light every single time you do that and not accept the compliment. And you're like dimming your light and dimming your light. And then you're
Just
going to
blowing
wake
the
up and
candle
be like,
out.
yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, like you're not doing your work for selfish reasons,
Right.
so take the compliment.
Yeah.
That's your
It's
homework.
well, that's the funny thing is like I'll take the compliment like on face value, you know what I mean? But then like when I
Yeah.
go to internalize it, it's like, nah.
Nope.
It's
Internalize it. You
socially, it's
have
like,
to
oh yeah,
like,
I got you socially because I've learned that part.
yeah,
But like keeping it to help motivate, it's like, no, it's nah, we'll put that over here on
yeah,
the shelf. It's like,
yeah. It's a
no, just
work.
take it, enjoy it, revel in it, and then keep using that to motivate you. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
It's just that's
yeah,
just weird. I don't know what it is. We could
yeah.
psychoanalyze all day, but I don't we don't need to do
Oh
that.
my god, I love psychoanalyzing. But anyways, I mean, that's what it was. When it came to my birthday, because it was this week. This was literally the best birthday I have ever had in my
Awesome.
entire life.
Fabulous.
And like I I, I love attention, but also at the same time, when I'm the center of attention, like I'm good if it's like one on one or like a small group, it's like okay. But
Yeah,
like
that's fine.
when it's like a whole entire room, for me in the past, it has made me very uncomfortable, and I have in the past struggled with like social anxiety and
Mhm.
all
Yeah,
of that stuff. But like on Tuesday, I was completely present at my birthday party and
that's
just like
awesome.
soaking in all of the love and
Soak up
like
the
all
moment.
of the notes on Facebook that people sent me. It's like, oh my God, thank you. And just like, I just sat in that. And that's progress in itself because I would have never done that years
Right, right.
ago,
Yeah. Isn't that funny how that works? What's funny is like my job now is where I am the center of attention, and it's not because I'm cool, it's because I have to present things because teach now. And it's a different mindset. It might just be me interpreting it, but like when I'm teaching something, it's the subject is the center of attention. I'm just the facilitator. But when it comes to like
Mm-hmm.
something like that, like a birthday party, I remember I think it was like my 30th or something. My family threw me a party for and it was so weird. I was like, I do not want people to be like, Ryan, Ryan, Ryan. I'm like, no, no, I don't want this. This is
Yeah.
too much
Yeah.
attention. It's such a strange thing
It
that we
is.
deal with. It's like, why? This is a good thing. People are here to celebrate you. It's like, it's so weird when you're the one getting celebrated. You're like, I don't, if you don't have
It
that
is.
kind of, that me, you know,
Hmm.
that almost a vanity, a little bit of vanity. Everyone wants a little bit, needs a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's so hard to kind of accept that and to be comfortable around it for so long. I don't know what it is. It's just a very
Yeah.
strange, it's super strange. I don't know what, I
Yeah.
don't know why.
And it's so fascinating, like, um, all the different experiences that you have throughout your life, especially in childhood, kind of like really shape you.
Hmm.
And so, like, when I got attention a lot of the times when I was younger and even like in my teenager years, adult years, the attention wasn't the best. It was
Negative.
I was lacking in some way. I
Ah, okay.
needed to like I was doing something wrong. And so like then when it came to getting attention like in my adult years, especially when I started my own business through Paper Pie and I'm getting
Yeah.
recognition
Yeah.
nationally and then now like I'm in BNI networking group and I'm at the top of the group. So like monthly I get recognition. It's like, oh my God. But it's like, I just had to change that in me. Like I recognize, oh, I don't like even, and I crave, the funny thing is that I craved attention, but like I wanted the celebration attention, not that, hey, you're not doing something right.
With the positive
So
attention. Yeah.
yeah, and so
Yeah.
even like I think probably up to about 2 years ago, like when somebody would say something, I was just like ooh, and it's because I was still living the in the way of oh, this is going to be negative. They're telling me that I'm not enough, that I'm not doing well, that I need to improve some way, and that was me living in my trauma.
Yeah.
But now that's not my story anymore.
That's good.
And
That's
so it's
good.
like I've been able to embrace it. But yeah, one of my friends was like, "Oh my God, you're so awesome." I said, "I am. Thank you for recognizing that. Thank you for saying that."
That's
And
cool.
so it's like taking those compliments or even just saying thank you.
Saying
Like
thank
you're
you. Yeah.
accepting that
That's
love from people.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to get better at too. Is just saying thank
Yeah,
you for someone saying, you're good at what you do or you're doing great. It's
yeah,
like, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Just kind of
yeah,
recognizing,
exactly.
cool, I appreciate that. That
Like
does help
accepting love, like
accepting it.
that's you accepting the love and appreciation that people
Yeah.
have for you, which is so important because
Yep.
that kind of goes along with like celebrating because it's hard doing the work that we do.
Mm.
it's
It
it
can be kind of
especially
thankless. It can be kind of
yeah,
thankless. Yeah. The
it's like
sales and just
oh
trying to
what's
get,
going
yeah.
on, yeah,
You kind of
yeah, it can it
focus on
can
the
take
data
a
too much
toll.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
can take a toll. Like, is it worth it? Is it, and so just like finding those moments of gratitude,
Yeah.
and accepting love when people compliment you, I think that kind of just like fuels you and helps
Oh,
you
hell yeah.
like. For me, it's like yes, the work that I'm doing day in and day out is worth it.
Yeah.
And it kind of like fuels me forward. Like it inspires me to do better.
Cool. I like that. Well, I don't,
Little tidbit.
yeah, a little
You didn't
tidbit.
know you were getting counseling.
No, oh,
No,
I
that's
knew
what
what I
I
was
do.
getting into. I knew what I was
Yeah,
getting
I did.
into.
Actually, you're like, actually, yes. Yes.
I knew this was gonna happen because we've had
Yeah.
so many conversations where it's led this way. We've gotten coffee in the past, we've talked on the phone, and we've always had stuff that goes kind of this direction. So I'm not
Yeah.
surprised. Happy we're doing it actually. So like I said, I was looking forward. I'm
Yeah.
really glad we were able to connect and do this today because it's like we're so damn busy taking a
Oh
second
my God.
just
Today was a dumpster trash.
dumpster
And
fire.
so, and it, yeah, and it was just like, yeah,
Everything's
it
got
was,
its challenges. Yeah.
and that's the really hard thing that like just finding when it comes because this whole entire week has been fantastic.
Oh, good.
I've been doing a lot of personal changes and shifts, especially when it comes to like what I'm eating. Like I went to bed at 8:30 last night.
Damn.
I
8:30.
know. Like
Yeah.
over this last week, I have been in bed before midnight, and I've
That's
been
good.
taking vitamins the last month, and
Nice.
watching my sugar intake, just really
Mm.
trying to drink more water and eat breakfast and all of that, like all
Hmm.
the things, because it all bleeds out into how I am day
Oh
by
God,
day.
yes.
And so, like, today, just like the day was just a little bit more, it just started out a little more rough. And like, the kids are going back to their dads today, and so
Yeah.
there's a lot of emotions that come with that because they like miss their dad and their bonus mom. However, they really love it over at my house. So it's like,
Yeah, it's
yeah, I was just
challenging.
like, oh my god, today is. But I'm glad I was, even even though I'm at my parents' house, not my house, and even though we had to move a couple of times, so I was like, what
Yeah.
the fuck is actually happening? Why is everybody over here?
Oh, that was funny. That was really funny.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
people just come in, and I'm like, what
What
the
the
heck is
hell is this? Yeah,
happening?
but that's okay. I mean, life is supposed to be a little kooky at times and kind of funky, so
Yeah,
it's not a
that's
bad thing.
kind of my entire life lesson. Like, how can you how can you how can you have joy through
Yeah.
the journey,
Well, and
even when even during the unexpected?
yeah. Well, I mean, so since this last year or so, and you've kind of regrounded and recentered and start growing and everything. Are you able to manage like like surprises, not unexplained, unplanned events? Like today is a little hectic. Are you able to? Do you find yourself a little more able to handle them
Yeah,
than before? It was like, oh, I can
yeah,
you can recover, bounce back a lot faster
yeah.
than before.
Yes, exactly. And that's exactly what I did today is
That's good.
I was feeling a little like I even texted you. I was like, I don't think this is gonna happen. Like
Yeah,
it's
I was
just
I was like, oh
and
no, we
and
can
I
do
was like
this.
I was emotional as well.
Yeah.
Like there was just a lot of stuff that was coming to the surface with all it's just like it was just like multi things. Not one thing, just like a lot of things with
A
how the
lot of
day
little
started.
things. Yeah.
And then but I knew because at my roots, I am more of a emotional type water type person. Like it's just, I mean, I'm Scorpio, so for water. And then emotions, like when
And I'm
I
an
feel
airhead, so
things,
that
it's
works. We work out.
deep. It's like deep. It's like these deep feelings. And then especially over this last week with me just deep dive feeling and like feeling back in my body, very, very clear about things. And then just things like come into the surface again. I was like, okay, no. I knew I needed to just take a moment
Yeah.
and be out in nature.
Hell yeah.
And
Nature's good.
so I dropped the kids' items off at Chris's house and went down to the Brownsville Marina and just walked, looked at all the fishes popping and the trees and the sunbeams and just like really grounded. Sent some there was a couple of texts that I needed to send out that I've been waiting and waiting and waiting to do because and finally just like spoke my truth, put it out there, set boundaries, and then like okay, then headed here at to my mom's house and I'm like, oh hey, if you want to hop on early, I can actually do it early just because
There's some
there was
time.
some more time. I had that moment to just really ground myself. So I think it's really, really important to figure out what you need
Yeah.
to kind of ground you. So that way you're not just constantly like that
Belated. Yeah.
before yeah, before it would be I would be like on eventually at the end of the day, I would be in tears because it's just like go, 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 go. And I have a lot of shit to do. Like, and so I've had to,
You're a
but
businesswoman. Of course, of course,
when
there
it,
you have a lot of shit
I
to do.
know, but here's the thing is like having a lot to do,
Yeah.
even though I've chose to do this, it adds an extra layer from that trauma of like, it kind of puts me in that trauma cycle again. So I've
Yeah.
had to intentionally clear things, move things, shift things, reground myself to be able to show up like to be able to show up here. It's like, okay, you know what? This isn't important. This isn't important. Let's move this. Let's shift this. Let's
Yeah.
get out there. Like, going and grounding at the Brownsville Marina for 20 minutes
Yeah.
was far more important than getting over to my parents' house and cooking cupcakes. I can do
Yeah.
cupcakes in a little bit. I'm going to actually do cupcakes when we're done here, make my
Hell
cupcakes
yeah.
for my sister's birthday tomorrow.
Sweet.
But
Happy birthday to her.
it's just like realizing what do you need to handle
Yeah.
the stresses of life because I mean the one thing in life that is constant is stress and changes.
Yep.
It
Constantly,
happens.
constantly.
Stresses come in different forms,
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter if it's not that big of a deal or anything. All of that is irrelevant. What is relevant is you're experiencing stress in your life, and that stress is
right,
valid. And how can you, in a healthy way, work through that? Like, what support do you need?
right.
And trying, I really, really try to lean in on myself
Yeah,
and not codepend on friends, family,
yeah,
and
but
stuff like that. Because it's
but
very easy for me to do that.
oh, sure, sure, yeah. So yeah, if you're a very independent person, leaning on others can be challenging. But then if you are at one point very codependent, leaning on yourself and trying to like just
There's a
pick
balance.
yourself up, yeah, there is absolutely a
There's a
balance.
balance. You
Because
got
I
to
mean, like,
figure out what's good for you.
yes, I mean, like for instance, I'm one that's very independent. I handle all my stuff as much as possible. But there's some days where it's like it's just a little too much, and so leaning on the wife a little bit, it's like,
Yep,
all
a
right,
hundred
I just
percent.
needed 20 minutes of like laying down, relaxing with her for a little bit. Like,
Yes,
okay, I am
yep.
now centered again. I can go do whatever I have to go take care of, or
And
just
that's what a
having
partnership is supposed to be about,
it
is to be
absolutely
able to
is.
like,
It's got to be feel like
when you feel
home.
like you need to. Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Feeling like home.
Yep.
Like that is your person that you can go to, and there's that balance of
Yeah.
doing that.
Yep. Complete comfort.
It's
You don't feel
important.
there's no threats. There's just you can just be you, be stupid, be weird, be whatever, and not have to worry about
Yep.
judgments. And it's such
They
a hard.
completely
It,
accept you unconditionally.
yes, exactly, exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
it's got to be fun, and that hopefully it's fun too in the long run also. But it just takes time, and hopefully you've got multiple people you can lean on, which sounds like, I mean, you got a really good support system. I know if you ever need a
Oh yeah,
call, I'll pick up the phone. And hopefully, I suck at answering my phone, but
me too. Text me.
yeah, texting's better. I'll answer that afterwards.
I
I
suck at
I
answering my
suck at it.
phone.
I get yelled at all the time. Why don't you answer the phone? Because it was turned
I
down.
know.
I don't
Yeah.
like. I hate phones
Well,
ringing. Drives me
it
nuts.
was so funny because somebody got on to me and they're like, "Why don't you ever answer your phone?" And so I turned my volume up and all my notifications on
Oh shit, I can't
for
do that
five
either.
minutes,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Holy shit, what is going on?" I was like, "This is why my phone is on silent and
Yeah.
notifications are shut off because I literally
Mine does
would not
too.
be able to get anything done. I
No.
am very intentional about checking if I know, like, I'll try and check it, like, and sometimes what I have been doing here lately is do not disturb and only allow
Mm,
specific people to call through.
that's not a bad
I
idea.
have been doing that, and then like people who call two times, it will automatically come through.
I
But
should
that's what
probably do
I've
that.
been doing recently, so that way I'm still getting the phone calls coming through. I'm just not getting all of the phone calls.
I need to do that because like most of the time it's just not really
Yeah,
needed. The person who
yeah,
the wife needs to get a hold of me. Okay, she's actually got something. She doesn't just call just to BS.
yes,
She'll be home in,
exactly.
30 minutes, but if she's got a call, she usually has something to say or she needs to do whatever.
Yeah,
So
she's
I might
trying to
I
get a
might
hold
do
of
that.
you, buddy, because she needs to chat with you about something.
Exactly, exactly. And so
Yeah.
I'll have to do that. I just suck at answering my phone. Like, oh, I'll call her back. Oh, now you called. I'm like, yeah, I was busy not looking at
Yeah,
my phone.
sorry. No, I get that same response. Oh, now you decide to call me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm doing shit. Not
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you're not
exactly.
important,
I don't
but
feel bad
I
about it
mean,
either. That's the
I
funny
get
part.
hyper focused.
Well, that's my problem. Like, I swear I get older. I think I told you, I feel like I'm getting ADD as I get older because I'm just having, I think it's probably social media and phones and technology and it's just kind of making me really go crazy squirrel brain. But getting like
Yes.
focusing on anything like with writing, I struggle with writing sometimes because, and I love to do it, but it's that
Yeah.
chaining me to the chair and going, right, you idiot, right. Because once you go, it's great. But yeah, but the
Yes.
stopping hurts. The stopping
Yeah.
hurts.
It's like getting going. It's like okay, and then once I get going, it's like oh my god, I gotta stop, and then I'm up at midnight or something, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like oh my god, this is so unhealthy.
I know I can't do that anymore. I used to love writing at night, and I still do. I just don't do it because I get up so damn early to go to work. It's like I get up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work.
Yeah, and
It's like
I've realized as I'm
I
getting
gotta sleep.
older, I need 7 to 8 hours
I
of
do
sleep.
too.
I need it, or I'm a shit show. It's
Yes.
bad. Like I cannot get less than 7 hours.
No,
It's not good.
I need 7. I can do 6 and I can survive, but by the end of like my third
Barely,
day,
barely.
I'm a crabby asshole and I need to just I need
Oh
you need to put
yeah,
me to bed and just let me sit there for sleep for 8 hours. And then after I get 7 hours of solid sleep. I'm awesome. So I was dealing with some sleep issues for about 2 years, where my sleep
Yeah.
started going from really good to real crappy, and then diagnosed with some sleep apnea, severe sleep apnea. I'm like, sweet. So I'm trying to kill myself slowly. This is great.
Yeah.
While I'm unconscious, even better. Uh,
Right?
Face me, sleep apnea, like a man. Come on. While I'm awake,
Right?
I'll fight you. I'll fight you. I'll wrestle you. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so stupid. But yeah, no, once I finally got the machine and started using it, because I
Yes.
that was a
That's a
denial
big thing.
thing too. You look like an
Oh
idiot
yeah, of
going
course it
on.
is. And then like you wake up with like strap marks.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. You have like I get the full one. It's so dumb. You have the little lines. Like, oh my God, I just look ridiculous.
When
But
I worked at the donut shop, I could always tell who had a sleep apnea
yeah.
machine because there would be like straps on their
Oh,
face.
that's
I'm
so
like,
funny.
oh
Mine go away pretty
god.
quick, so it's not on too tight, but it's like that well, the beautiful thing was once I started getting sleep, I started doing shit again. Like, holy crap, I was
Oh
walking
yeah.
again, lifting
Oh yeah.
weights, I'm writing again, podcasting became a lot more fun because I had energy to talk instead of like I'm
Exactly.
so tired. It was like I was falling asleep. I was falling asleep having conversations. It was not good.
Oh
I
yeah.
had to really focus to stay the hell awake. But
I know,
it's
and I feel like as like oh yeah, we're only in our 30s, but let me tell you, the 30s have been a wild ride, and I know we probably have some older, more people who are have more wisdom than us that are like,
probably.
"Oh, you're so young." But like, let me tell you, shifting from 20 to 30 was so hard, and even like I'm 36, so 6 years into my 30s, and it's
Hmm.
man, like I have had to be really intentional over the last 6 months with my health.
Yeah. You
It
really
is
have to,
hard,
you got to knuckle
but
under with
like,
that shit. Otherwise, it'll take
it's
you out.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like yeah, I'm 30, but I'm trying to watch, what I take inside my body, so
Yes.
that way I could be healthy, and because like my body just doesn't process things like how it
No.
did when I was younger, and
Well,
it's
like
like, well, I want to be able to live a long, healthy, comfortable life,
healthy
and so
life.
that takes
Yeah.
now.
With quality years. I want quality
Yeah,
years. That's what I want. Well, I look at like my kids. They're insane. They're insane. Yours are probably the same way. They can fall over and sleep, wake up, and they'll go a mile a minute
that's
until they fall asleep again. I can't recover like that anymore. I have to be more dedicated and more purposeful with my actions.
intentional.
Intentional, yes, intentional with my like eating. I had to like look, okay, take a step back and go, what the hell am I eating? Because I'm gaining too much
Uh
friggin'
huh.
weight. Because I gain weight like I so fast. And to lose it, it takes forever. And so it's like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
for
Oh
me, it's
yeah.
so bad. And I've had to, okay, is this good to put in my body? No.
Yes.
Then eat something better or drink some water,
Yep.
shut your mouth and don't eat. Just like
Exactly.
it, I have to be that way.
Exactly.
Otherwise, I'm gonna get
Or like,
fat
how is
and
this going to
awful. I
make
don't
me
want this.
feel?
That
Like, even if
that
it's
one,
okay, like,
that
how
one.
is it going to make me feel down the
Yes.
road? Is it going to cause
Yes.
me more, like, am I going to feel heavier and gross? Like,
Right.
sometimes pasta, I love pasta.
In
It's
small quantities,
also
it's
very
okay.
heavy. Yeah, it's also, it could be heavy, especially with like the heavy dairy in it. It's like,
Like a
okay, well,
cheese
I
sauce.
love it. It's comfort food.
Oh yeah.
However, I do not feel the best.
Well, right.
And
I've had to really scale down what I eat and look at the actual like my sister's into nutrition like crazy.
yeah.
She loves it. Fitness and nutrition are one of her big hobbies. And she's like, you gotta, check your macros. I'm like, okay, speak plain idiot for me, please, because I don't know what the hell you're
I
talking about. So, your fats, your carbs, your protein. I was like, okay, so you're a big guy, you need protein. And
yeah.
holy crap, was she right? I was not eating enough protein. I started eating more eggs, meats, lean meats, all of a
Yep.
sudden, and getting good sleep. I
Oh
was
wow, a brand new person.
brand new person. I'm like, geez, where was I? I was awake for 2 years.
Oh yeah. Oh
Feels so
yeah.
much better. God
Oh
damn.
yeah.
It's such a balancing act being an adult. I hate it.
I know it is. It was super funny when you were talking about kid energy. My friend's birthday was this last Sunday,
Yeah.
and we took my 3 kids and his 3 kids to a trampoline park. We
Oh
had
my
six
God.
kids.
Silverdale?
No, it's in Puyallup. It was
Okay. I
incredible.
think I know what
It
you're
was
talking
so
about.
much fun. I forgot what it's called.
Catapult
I think it's
Adventure Park or
yes,
something.
yes, yes, yes,
We
yes,
took our
yes. Oh
boys
my
there
gosh,
and
it
they
was
loved
so
it.
fun.
So
And
fun.
so like we were balls to the wall running around with the kids. He just turned 39. I just turned 36. They were running circles around us. We had a blast with the kids. It was so fun. But man, I stopped feeling sore yesterday.
Oh my God.
Like, and we went on Sunday. Like,
Jesus.
and like the kids, we went and grabbed some pizza after it, and they were still like, ooh. And I mean, they all did sleep really, really nice.
Yeah.
Like, at least my kids slept really, really nice that day, and they had a fantastic time. But it was so fun, like going. I was sweating and I was tired, but it was so fun just getting out and doing those like the child activities,
Kind of
like
being
the
a kid
childlike
again. Yeah.
play. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
so fun and so healing, like
You
jumping
need that.
around and all of that. So I was like, okay, I need to do that more
Yes, you do. Play. You
and
got to play.
went out in nature more, like
Yes.
going out in nature and just exploring. Like those are all things that I need to like stay young at heart, but
Hell
also
yeah.
it just like energizes me to, eat better and to keep up with kids.
Yeah. Because
And do
they've
you
got
know how many
energy in
adults there
spades.
were? There were so many adults sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah. There are a lot. I remember we
So
went for a
many.
party and we just watched them play and I'm like, man, I kind of want to get down there and mess around, but I was still pre CPAP machine, so I was not
Yeah.
exactly awake. I
Yeah,
was
you
so
like the
tired.
energy wasn't there.
No,
Yeah,
God, no.
we
Now
had
I could do it.
so much fun.
That's
So much
awesome.
fun. We're like, okay, we got to do this again. And my legs were super super sore.
Oh, I'm sure they were.
His like his back was sore. And then I actually posted a video on Facebook of on my personal timeline of us at the play park, and he's like laying down, and the kids were just like, it was chaotic. Like there's so much happening in that video, and I was like, the more that I watched this video, the more I laughed. And he's like, oh, that was me sleeping. I said, oh, is that what you were doing? You were taking a rest? He's like, yeah, I was trying to take a rest. I was like, I had no idea. Because like he laid on the wall and the wall was down and then like it kind of created this little thing where like the kids could like kind of jump on it and he's
Okay.
like, no, I was just trying to take a moment to rest because I was
Yeah.
really tired.
Yeah. I feel like as we
It
get
was
older, we become
hilarious.
more inefficient and inefficient cars. We just get like we start off at like a hybrid, level, and then we 50
Yeah.
miles to the gallon. And now I'm one of those old clunky diesels that get like 3 miles to the gallon. You might see just
Yeah.
black smoke down the highway. That's what I feel like as I'm getting older. I just get less efficient. I get way
Yeah.
less efficient, and it's terrible. Like, it's just so
Oh
bad.
yeah, which is why you gotta. What am I eating? What am I?
Exactly. Good food.
How am I sleeping? And all
Yeah.
of that. Like it's
Where's my
all
mental state?
full
How is that
circle.
doing? And that's,
Yeah.
I mean, that the book you're writing, you can do so much with that, and I feel like you can pull on from so many experiences, and hell,
Oh yeah.
you could even partner with some people and have them, you can interview people and get their perspectives, and it would not be a bad
Oh yeah.
idea. That is, you have there's so many things you can do with this book. It's just it's boundless. It's
Oh yeah.
boundless. You can have a good
Yeah.
time
And
with
it
it.
just ties into everything that I'm currently doing. It's kind of just like having that, like I guess like a handbook or a tool book. Like, hey,
Yeah.
because it all like it's crazy how things have just come together
Yeah, yeah. And I
with
think
that.
when you make good choices and you're purposeful and you're learning and you're aiming towards, you have a goal in mind, you're chasing your interests, and it will work out. The money will come. Really, it's about
Yeah.
the relationships you build, because I mean, like, we have a saying in the shipyard, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Kind of the
Yes.
same
Yep.
thing. It's who you
It
know
is.
in life. And are they going to, like you said earlier, surrounding yourself with people who are bettering themselves, who are constantly trying to improve, learn a skill, grow, be kind to each other, just how
Yep.
they act. If you're around those kind of people, I mean, your life's going to be your life. You're going to grow into that kind of group of friends. You'll
Yes.
grow
Yep.
together. And it's, I think that's the healthiest.
It
methodology
is.
of going
Yeah,
through life.
it is. I know as a I guess this is like a personal struggle that I have is as a high achiever
Yeah.
in life, I find it very, very hard to, there's not a lot of people who go at my pace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and so it's like, I always find that struggle between like, cause I don't like saying the term I outgrow people,
Yeah. It's a thing
but
though.
I mean, really, I outgrow a lot of people. And so, and it's, I always have to like tune in and tap in to see, to check myself to make sure. And then like, sometimes like, oh my God, am I being too much again? Like, am I, do I need to like turn it down a little bit? And it's like, no, 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 I don't. The right people will be
They'll
around
find
my
you.
life, will, or find me or step up
Yeah.
but it's just like, I'm always constantly evaluating close relationships in my life. Like,
Yeah.
is this serving me? Is this supporting like a future that I want? Do I need to create new boundaries? I definitely have to be like super, super careful about how I go about that and how I communicate to people because in the past,
Yeah.
I have been called like snobbish and better than everybody else. But again, those people are talking from their own.
Yeah.
Like it's really crazy. Like the people who give you the hardest time about the boundaries you set is exactly why you need to have those boundaries in place.
I think there's a
You
saying,
know?
it's like those who matter, what was it? Those who matter won't mind, those who mind won't matter. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
so
think,
it's just like, continuing continually speaking my truth and like,
yeah.
and I'm a very intentional person.
Yeah.
I am not mean. I never tried to be mean. That's not my intention. Like if I feel like I've wronged somebody, I am the first one to take responsibility for that. Or if
Yeah.
somebody comes to me and say, "Hey," I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. That was not my intention.
Right. Right.
Like I am sorry. I will work on this."
Yes. Yes.
And I feel like I'm going at a fast pace, and I've had a lot of people who are like, "Oh my gosh, I look up to you." Like I try and keep up with Jeanne, whatever Jeanne is doing, how fast of the pace Jeanne is moving. I was like, no, don't do that. Like you are you,
Yeah.
I am me, you are you. You need to go at your pace based upon what you feel like you need to do with your life, and I'm going to go my pace, and it's going to look different,
Yeah.
and that's okay. That's that's okay. And side note, like that's okay if relationships aren't aligned anymore. There's always seasons to relationships.
Oh, 100%.
You
100%.
know, and it's just sometimes you have to have difficult conversations, set the boundaries, and you
Yeah.
know. So I'm still kind of learning that for myself. Like, what is
I think everybody is though. I mean,
yeah.
even folks who have been around a lot longer than we have, I think they're still growing and doing, because just because they know the information does not mean they've put it to action.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So instinct and learned habits are hard to break.
Oh my God. So hard.
So hard to break, especially when you get, past your teenage years, and we don't know diddly squat when we're a teenager. We might think we do, but we
Yeah,
don't know
we think we
shit
do.
when we're teenagers. We think
Oh
we do.
yeah.
We don't. The
Oh yeah.
confidence of a teenager is absurd. Like, I am not
Eh,
looking forward to having a teenager. Like, my boy's like, I'm gonna be I'm a teenager in 3 years. I was like, and you're sleeping outside. When you turn 13, you're rabid. You're outside. I don't want a teenager in my
well,
house.
it's not like I have a teenager and I have
I
a
know you
pretty
do.
teenager, and it's not as bad. But also,
That's good.
also, I have my kids are they're golden, but like
That sounds good. Yeah,
with
my boys are
me,
good, but
yeah,
I just love to
it's
joke
just
with them.
it's I know, and it's so different depending on like personalities have into play and like
Oh my
how you were
God.
raised and like there's so many different variables. But like what
Personalities.
I've noticed is when you have a child, teen, or even an adult who is just really like upset or rebellious or just like, given some attitude, they just need connection.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
they need connection. They need to know that you care. It's
Yes.
not, and it's such a very, very fine line being a parent and having these individuals, like that that can think for themselves and that ultimately they can make their own choices.
Oh, it's so challenging. Yeah.
And it's like you can't control them because it's gonna backsplash, and it's like it's definitely been a balance of trying to figure that out as I am parenting a 15-year
Yeah.
old, and like it's like, oh my god, 3 years he's 18
Oh
and
my
it's
God.
like it's
Ugh.
crazy.
That's so
Um,
scary to think
and
about. Oh
so
my
I
God.
just try and have like open communication with all three of my children. I allow space for them to share their opinions with me and
Right.
we have conversations about it. I usually usually they like, because I've created that, we can converse back and forth, we can have our own opinions about different things.
Right.
Ultimately, like for my 15-year-old, and there's not like there are some things where I'm like, no,
Well,
we're not doing
you
that,
got to pull the mom card. You still got to pull the mom
but
card.
for the most part I allow them to make choices, and then I do some, depending on what the choices are, I'm like, well, if you decide to eat this or do this, then this is what
This
may
is what's going to
happen, or
happen.
this, like, which one supports the life that your
Natural
future that you want,
consequences. Yeah.
and try and like lay them out so that way they can begin to think about some things, like how they want their life to go. I try and allow freedom and flexibility to have them make their own choices, so that way they don't have that like urge to just go do whatever they want to do.
Totally. Yeah, you have to I call it letting the leash out.
Yeah,
So like as the boys get older and they want to go play like in the neighborhood, it's like, okay, well, I have to let the leash out because when I was a kid, their age,
yeah,
I did the same thing. Rode my bike, hung out with my buddies, go out, make choices, make dumb choices,
yes,
and learn from those dumb choices. They think it's just
yes,
funny stories. I'm like, no, it's not just funny stories. They actually were
yes,
life lessons. And if my mother
yes,
had been too, domineering, going, no, you cannot go and do this and experience life, then I don't think I've been able to handle life as well. They have to go out and make
yes,
those choices. And what I
yes,
love is you're communicating with your kids. Looks like we do the same thing. The boys that want to do this, like, hey, here's if you make that choice, here's what's going to happen. Natural
yes,
consequence is going to be XYZ. Or they do make a bad choice. It's like, well, now you have to suffer the consequences. I don't like it
yeah,
either, but I had to do the same thing. And we just
yep,
try our best to communicate that with our kids and let them get them exposed with enough safe, as much as you can,
yeah, yep,
expose them to safe bad choices. So hopefully
yeah. Not
when
so great choices. Not, I call them
yeah,
not smart choices.
yeah, they're not smart choices. It's the fact. But hopefully they make small, not smart choices now. So when they get older, they make good choices. They don't make the
Yes.
really bad choices when they get older. And I'm
And
hoping
then,
that's the thing. But we don't know until they get
yeah,
that age. So
exactly. And then like, sometimes smart, not so great smart choices are made.
yeah.
And in order for a child and a teenager to feel comfortable owning their fuck up,
Hmm.
you as an adult have to own your fuck up. And
Right.
that's something that I do all the fucking
That
time.
is huge.
It's or sometimes I'm just like, there's been a couple of times where I've been a little bit on the edge, like a year ago
Same.
or something. And like,
Same.
I can see their faces, and I'm just like, I stop and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Mom's being a bitch. I am being a bitch. I am sorry. I need to take a moment. I need to take a couple of moments to reground myself. That was not acceptable.
Yes.
I apologize. I am sorry. Do you forgive
I've
me?
I've done
And
that
or
too.
like if I like mess up with something, like I just, I'm like, oh fuck, I did this. Like, oh shit. Or oh man, I did this. I messed up. But you know what? It's okay. And that,
Yeah.
I have noticed that over the last year of doing that, just like owning my mistakes and like, kind of um confronting them head on, that has given them um the ability to be comfortable
With making
to
mistakes
make
and
mistakes.
fail. Yeah.
And that is huge because then they're not afraid to talk to me. Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, mom, I did do this. Like, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh, it's okay. Or like, if they spill something or make a mess, And I'm like, oh, hey, who did this? And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I did that. I'm like, okay, thank
Ownership.
you for telling me.
Yeah.
Let's work on, what can we do moving forward so that way this doesn't happen? How can we, like, can you pick this up?
Right.
And just kind of have a talk a little bit more, like have open conversation about all of those things. And like, you know
Right.
what? You're human. Things happen. Life happens. There's no shame. There's no blame.
Yeah.
Let's just,
Caca occurs.
take responsibility for our part and
Yep.
then work on moving forward. And like, 2 years ago, this was not a thing in our house. It's like you could not. It's like walking on eggshells. You couldn't. You
No.
didn't have like there wasn't that comfortability with messing up.
Yeah.
Everything had to be perfect. And so I'm really, really happy that I've been able to create like a very healthy and mentally and emotionally safe
Yeah. That's really what it
environment for
is.
my children to just
Yeah.
really like learn, and they can, make hiccups
Yeah.
and
Be okay with
know
that.
that they still like mama still has their back. We'll figure things out together.
Yep.
It's gonna be
That's a
okay.
hard lesson to learn too. I mean, it's just
It
like
is.
losing or failing or messing up, making mistakes, and that's not beating yourself up about it. That's really hard. But
Yeah,
I've definitely
it
done that
is.
with like, you, especially when I was going through my not sleeping time, my temper was getting a little ridiculous sometimes. I would just lose it. I was so tired, couldn't think straight. And so reacting poorly to dumb, just like stupid things, like someone spilled, a glass of water or some snack on the table, like it's not a big deal. We just clean it up,
It's yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And thankfully, I had the wherewithal after I had a little incident. I came back, okay, guys, that was not how I should have handled that. I'm so
yeah,
sorry. That was not how it's supposed to be. On the flip
yeah,
side, there have been times where the kids have done dumb things that required that level of, you know, response. And it's like the
yeah,
reason, and then I explain why I had to respond that way. I go, I don't want to yell at you. I do not like yelling at people. It's not something I look
yeah,
forward to in the day. This happened. This made me worried about XYZ. I explained my
yep.
thinking, and they're like, "Oh, I
Oh,
can see why you were mad." I'm like, "I was mad because I was
yeah,
worried, or I was mad because you
yeah,
now ruined whatever the
yeah.
case is."
Anger, righteous anger, but more concerning. And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like that immediate physical fast response to something that's happening right now, whether they perceive it or not. But you have to
yeah,
kind of understand yourself, and it just takes time. And I think when you get in your 30s, you're kind of there.
yeah,
You better be there, or you're probably not a great person to be around.
right?
Self-identifying,
Yeah,
anything. But anyway, um, dang, we've gone like 3 hours.
I know, right?
This is
Did you
wild.
have any questions that we didn't answer?
I honestly, I had nothing written down. This is all just
Oh, perfect.
organic. Yeah, this is all organic. That's how I run the podcast. It's all organic. Almost all the time.
Perfect.
Yeah, I usually have a bio, but I know you, so it's a don't really have to
No
read the
bio
bio.
needed.
Like, yeah, I know who she is. She's cool.
No bio.
Yeah, no bio. I'll probably have if you have a bio, I'd love to have it. That way I can put it in the description.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I could probably make one up, but I think it coming from you, you have all the info and everything would be
No, no, that
best.
makes sense.
Would be best. But hey, how about we wrap this up? Because I know I'm getting my stomach's telling me I need to eat
I
something.
know, I'm hungry too.
Yes, let's
I
wrap
was
this
like,
thing up.
I'm hungry.
It's like, oh my God, 12:40. We gotta eat. We gotta eat. So
Gonna
okay,
eat.
eat and be jolly.
I
Hopefully
gotta
not
I
eat.
gotta make cupcakes for my sister's birthday
Ooh, yeah,
tomorrow.
do that too.
So
Eat the cupcakes
eat the cupcakes.
after. Yeah. Well, yeah, eat the cupcakes. Not all of
I
them.
will do both. I'll do both.
Good. Good on you. Good. You gotta have fun, right? You gotta play. All right.
Yes.
So tell people where they can find you. Hopefully, and then they can definitely be checking in on when this book gets done, how to contact you for your new awesome marketing business, which is super exciting. Where can they find you?
Okay, so you know what? Honestly, the best way to get to connect with me is on Facebook.
Perfect.
My personal Facebook page. It is underneath Jeanne Atlanta Broxton. And I believe my URL link for that is facebook.com _ something like or / Janae, the book lady.
Jeanne, the book lady. All right, cool. And then you'll be having your when your website comes up too. Shoot me the link, and I'll put it in the description too.
Yes,
Yeah,
I will do
I know
that. And then
everything's still in development.
I am also on Instagram, and that's Jeanne Atlanta Broxton too. So
Sweet,
those are the best ways to connect with me. And then through there, I have different links for
nice.
all the different things that I do. But I absolutely love connecting with people. So, but I am very careful about like friend requests and stuff. So if you do send me a friend request, just say, hey, I found you
Yeah,
via this way because I usually don't accept friend requests from people I haven't like I don't know. I'm
actually
just a
talk
little
to.
even though all of my posts are public just
Yeah,
because social media and stuff.
yeah. It's a thing.
So
It's a thing.
it is.
But
So
it's
yeah,
that's
that's
so
the
cool.
best way to connect with me.
Cool.
And then email
Yeah,
broxtonjanae@gmail.com for now.
perfect.
Kept my
Nice.
last name because my kids.
Yeah, there you go. And then if
Yeah.
you guys can't find her and you're on here, well, hit me a email or a DM or something,
Hit
and I will.
Ryan up.
Yeah, hit me up and I'll tell Janae that someone's looking for her.
Yes.
As long as you're not weird,
Thank you.
then I'll avoid sending that to her. Okay, so
You're
don't
like,
be weird.
no.
Yeah, I'm
Don't
not
be
doing that.
weird. We
Yeah,
don't have any weird people on here.
no, zero weirdness. There's no
Zero.
weirdness right now.
I
It's
think we're the weirdest
probably
people.
okay. I know for a fact, but that's
So.
okay. That's the fun part. That is the fun part about this. Being weird is fun. So, well, Janae, thank you so much for coming on. This
Yes.
is so cool to help celebrate the 100th episode. I'm so excited we got to do this and
I'm
meet up.
so proud of you.
Thank you so
So
much.
proud.
It's so cool to see. And then when you do get your book out, whenever you get it, again, no rush. I'm just excited to talk about it with you and see where you're at. And it's so fun. It's just so cool to talk with you. So thank you for coming on here and BSing with me for like almost 3 hours. This is so
I
cool.
love it. Yes.
We'll need to do this
Okay,
again.
I will talk to you later, okay?
All right, sounds good. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed the hell out of this. And as always, stay mighty and keep reading.